Welcome to Season 3, Episode 72 of Masks Bake Team. I think we'll start off with a cold cut open to a gray, cloudy sky. There are a few sun rays that are breaking through. American gray. Actually, no, it is English gray because as it casts down over these lovely rolling fields, we pan over to a wide shot of this really lovely town in the English countryside as a little text box comes up indicating that we are in Glastonbury, England. We get we pan down further into the grass as the camera makes its way through the grass, and we pan into the town itself where the five of you are walking through the town after having made your way. It seems that Lemerac has requested you, the five of you, to accompany him on this mission to discover a cave and protect it. Sir Lemerac of the Knights of the Round Table has driven you after you all landed in England. And, you know, knights, they ride horses, and cars are measured in horsepower. So, if, like, what's the average car's, like, horsepower? An average, like, rental van. This is a genuine question, because I don't know. Van horsepower. It's probably in the thousands. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I don't know how cars work.
Yeah.
I thought his van would have 1 horsepower, as in 1 horse pull in it.
Well, that's what he expected. Oh jeez. Oh god, I'm on a random website. This is scary.
A Kirby craft
Okay.
has about 1,000 horsepower.
200 horsepower then. Okay, let's go 200 horsepower. No, let's go 160 horsepower. So,
Okay, nice fit.
through the thought process, if you were to imagine yourself, you've ridden horses your whole life. You've been in a cart drawn by 2 to 6 horses. Now, if you're in a cart that's powered by 200 horses, then it's likely to be a pretty bumpy ride, considering that who would not want to ride at 200 horses speed. So the ride to Glastonbury was quite jarring, but you made it there in one piece.
I'm more concerned about the 200 horse shit.
It was a manual, and Lamerack does not know how to drive manual, does he?
Probably not. But he
Yeah,
had
okay.
a fun time. And whoever was sitting in the front seat probably also had a fun time.
Darn it.
Man, I would have probably snuck off and teleported off at some point and just followed along.
Oh, jeez, okay. Alright, so the, 6 of you are in town. He's gone to gather, some final materials and a, local map of the region. What do the rest of you do while you're in this town?
I take out my phone and bring up a map of the local region.
You have a very weak signal and it's taken a while to load.
I don't know.
Okay.
Actually, wait, Glastonbury's a pretty popular place. No, you have a good connection.
I download the local map then. Well, that was easy.
Okay, well, you download a local map, but you don't quite understand all of it. Like, which are some of the better forest trails to take. If you do find those really good maps that have, like, input and, like, oh, this is a good spot. Oh, there's really muddy here. That's probably gonna cost you, like, $10. Well,
Wow.
let's put it at £10.
Yes, we use the pound over here.
Jazz hands. How about
Yeah.
the rest of you?
Amon's got a can pressed to his forehead because at one point Lamorak probably braked pretty hard and he just bashed his head up against the dashboard.
Oh.
Poor boy.
Nice. Yeah, he's holding a can up to his forehead.
Poor Amon.
Alright.
I have
I
a
have
question.
a context.
Yes?
Yeah, me too. But go ahead. Go ahead, Dennet.
I have a question. Is there any mission assigned to me for this?
Well, actually, yes, there is. As we, take a quick flash cut back to, a scene that none of you were present for, but it was Galahad, requesting to Godspeed that, he and some of the other knights take, team members on 4 missions. As far as everyone knows, there were only 3 groups sent on missions, and 1 corresponding group that, of course, some previous big team members who are now, currently in Russia. They're the ones who are handling that mission with one of the knights. We'll take like one of those like quick freeze frames to, like Russian big team, with, of course, Jake and Dom. And there's this huge looming beast in, like, the frozen tundra, because it's still pretty cold up there, I guess. Like, this is, like, north, almost in, like, the Arctic. And it's, like, there's, like, a very, let's say, pretty heavy, snowstorm that's mostly obscuring everything except for the shape and the eyes of the beast. And then we'll flash cut back to you.
Okay, though I was actually asking for my mission from the organization rather than the big team. If there even is any English, goddammit.
No, you had some free time, I guess. They didn't have you on, this is like in between missions.
Sure thing.
Okay, so that answered one of my questions. I have 2 other questions.
Yeah.
One, are we deployed here for several days, or is this like we're gonna do something and go back home?
Well, this is so far scheduled to be a 4-day mission, where days 1 and 2 were spent getting to Glastonbury. Day 3 is in Glastonbury for the actual mission, and then day 4 is headed home. Where
Gotcha.
all of you will be sent back home, but Lamorak will be staying behind.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wait, I just realised,
Okay.
man, I sort of hit one of the tourist shops up to buy a gift for his cousin.
Alright.
Yeah, Lisa wants a gift. Okay, so my other question is for another player in this group. Which character who is still currently on Big Team notified Minnie and brought her along, because she does not do what Godspeed says?
It's possible Madeline might have asked for help.
Okay, then Manaline is why Minnie is here.
Okay.
She also, if this is okay with you, Annie, because of her current state, she would need kind of like a guardian. And if her best friend Abby from Massachusetts could be here to just sort of look after her, I think she'd be present.
What do you mean by guardian?
Minnie is very prone to wandering off and being
Yeah.
respected.
I remember
And,
that.
Yeah, and so like when she's on mission with the team, she's fine because there's other people around. But like having meals, just sort of doing regular stuff to care for herself is a challenge. And I don't know if anybody on the team would be willing to take on that task. So
Okay, Red Streak can. Aman would help
Okay.
as well.
okay, so then we don't
That's
need
why I
a
wouldn't.
vulnerable bystander. That's fine.
Don't need
I mean, if you want Abby there, it's cool. I guess. I mean, for
No,
me,
it's
depends on Annie.
it's up to Annie,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
that could be a big wrench in the work.
For the fear of halting this more than we already have, could I get a very quick what changed with Minnie? Because I don't remember this behavior back when back in the day.
We can do a last time on big team.
Oh
somewhere along
god!
Yes, we can.
Can we do it? Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
We'll get there. I
Oh.
promise.
Okay. Speaking of which, Red Streak, what are you doing on the free time that you have before Limerick comes back? Alright.
I'm taking the horse because horses are beautiful creatures.
Well, by 200 horses, I mean 200 horsepower.
No, I think it's funnier the other way.
Well, either way, I'm stroking one of the horses.
Alright, let's say there's like one of those like really fancy carriages that has like those really uncomfortable benches that like you're sitting on the edge of the cart and it's like there's no gate, so you're probably gonna fall off. There's one of those and there's like two really big horses there. And one of the caretakers who runs the tours.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stroke the horse regardless.
Alright. It kind of does like the into your hand. And it like it's like a bit like moist because horse breath. But it's a pleasant feeling overall.
It is very pleasant.
Okay. Who else is doing something? Ren, are you doing anything?
He's probably gawking all over left and right because this is the first time he's ever been abroad.
Aww.
Aw.
Well, you see a very lovely, like, it's one of those, like, very touristy type, towns, I guess. Where it's like the houses are very, or the houses, most of them are like restaurants, gift shops, like tour, museum, all of the general things to cater to tourists, whereas the actual like residence would probably be further in. It's very picturesque. There's a few postcards that depict very the town itself, along with like a few along with the woods surrounding on the northeastern side. And it's like there's like a little advertisements of like mystical fairy caves that are located deep within the woods. It's like tourist stuff, like walk the trail of like the knights of old and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think Minnie has found a local or passerby or someone to accost about fairy caves, and she's wheeled over to them and is asking them more questions than they can possibly answer.
Okay. I really don't want to do a Welsh accent, English accent, because I am not good at accents. So
It's
just
okay.
I don't think
imagine.
Minnie doesn't have like important questions. She's just being kind of annoying to someone who's not a team member.
Okay.
And if you don't want that, I think Aman can just walk over to her, sort of just drag her off and, like, hey, just sorry about her, and hey, just, why don't you have this? Hands the person the can he had up to his forehead moments ago, and drags Minnie away.
The local is somewhat confused and like shrugs because tourists.
Americans.
You can tell like they've probably been accosted with lots of questions that like they probably actually had a lot of answers to. Considering, I guess, the traffic that comes through. Did you want to talk that out? Maybe roleplay it out a bit?
I mean, I don't have anything in particular I want to know. You asked what people are doing in the scene, and that's what Minnie's doing. She's talking to a local.
And now
So,
getting
I
trapped.
mean, if you have important information to dump on us via this local, then by all means, let us have it. But I think Minnie's just asking everything.
Well, between the two of you, as you're being, like, wheeled away. Because if not, then I can just have Lemurac come back.
Yeah, I think nothing special is gonna happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so soon enough he comes back. To not draw attention, he's not exactly wearing his full suit of armor that you're pretty typically used to, and of course not wearing the swimsuit that one time that you've seen, because this is not a beach episode. Or this is not a water episode. Bottle
What are
episode.
we wearing?
What are you wearing? Because, like, you've been told, that you'll be going through a forest track into, to accompany Lemrock on finding something.
Yeah.
Starting from the top?
Appropriate care would be fine. So, good old sturdy pair of sneakers, jeans.
Yeah.
Shirt, maybe a jacket. Yeah, there you go. Simple does it.
Simple does it.
I think Madeline civilian outfit, but with a backpack or a rucksack on his back.
Okay. What about you, Minnie?
Minnie doesn't own a lot of practical clothing, so she probably has like her hero outfit packed somewhere in the van. But right now she's probably wearing like a dress or like something light, but like leggings and like a bubble jacket, because I think it maybe will get cold here, especially if we're going to go hiking.
Okay.
But yeah, she's kind of mishmashed right now. She's not an outdoorsy person, so her most practical clothing would be her costume.
Okay. What about Red Streak?
Probably wearing her casual clothes, but not as like punk rocky as she normally is. A little bit more like not casual, but more sturdy for like outdoor stuff, like a jacket and stuff.
Okay. And you, Ren.
Okay, so my first question is, what was the name of those super short jeans that you usually wear for the beach? I swear this makes sense in context. I just forgot the name.
Super short jeans, I can only think of booty shorts. Which I don't think is what you mean.
No,
Is Ben wearing shorts?
That is very much what I intend to wear. See, Ren is wearing, aside from his usual headband to keep his hair in check, he's wearing a short shirt, as in a short sleeve shirt fitting, a hoodie that is half unzipped, and he's wearing jeans, normal jeans, on top of which there's booty shorts and some cloth hanging from his belt.
Okay.
It's all in various garish colors.
Oh, goodness. Alright. Well, you all did definitely pick a great time, or a great, series of outfits, because it's moderately chilly over there. It's overcast, as, well, I guess it usually is. There's a few sun rays poking through for, like, a brief 2 minutes of warmth. But the skies are gray, and, it smells like rain in the air.
Madeline takes his umbrella out.
Well, it smells like rain, like... It's not gonna come immediately. But yeah, Lamorak is back, and he's holding up a map, triumphantly, that has, some pen marks, that have bled through. So, we're ready to
Who should
go.
we have to kill? Okay.
What was it?
I was gonna say who did he have to kill to get that map?
What? No.
You said it
No!
had blood. You had blood on it.
No, it does not have blood on it. No, it has ink bleeding through.
Ah, I'll tell you.
Wait, bleeding through what again?
The map. The map is
The map is
a paper
bleeding.
map that has been marked with pen ink, but it's been done either so much or the material has become moist that the ink is bleeding through to the other side.
It's Sharpie.
It's a Sharpie.
It's Sharpie on a paper map. Oh my god, this is all going downhill. Okay.
Okay.
I apologize.
It's okay. So if the vehicle has been taken care of and now we are ready to go, does anybody have any questions before we head off?
Yeah. What precisely special about this cave?
Yeah.
He kind of looks around town. My sword, he like taps the scabbard around his belt. Around his belt? The scabbard on his belt. This, Harold, you were there. You saw that our weapons began to glow when Merlin's prophecy came about, so we've managed to exact the location that my sword was pointing to when it was glowing. So I can take it out once we reach the privacy of the woods, and we can navigate further in from there to find the cave. Because this cave, we assume, holds the gate that we need to get back to Avalon.
Alright.
It's like that moment where Ren's eye come aglow and the thing finally clicks for him. There's a very low kind of static noise, but upon listening for a little longer, you can hear that it's not like some sort of ethereal static. It's coming from Ren, and it's a very low kind of sound of excitement that he's barely capable of containing within himself.
Ren, buddy, just get it out your system before we head into the woods.
Ren just nods 3 times in rapid succession.
Also, Lamorak, Ren, Lamorak of the Round Table.
Pleasure to meet you. He holds out his hand to shake it. Of course he knows who you all are. It's just, formalities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ren extends his hand. Ren takes the handshake, shakes it, or at least attempts to shake it himself, probably with very little effect, but nevertheless full of enthusiasm.
His arm is a noodle, while Lamorak just gives a nice, good, firm 2 shakes, and then, let's go. Your arm is a noodle.
Yes.
As you're practically vibrating with excitement. Oh, jeez. Okay. So, with that, he, gets the guide that, of course, you have to take when you go into the woods because, you can't get lost, because that's not good. And, you head off. The guide is, if you choose to listen and you'll hear, facts about how this was an ancient medieval burial ground for the legend, blah, 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 legendary kings, It's like how these woods have been alive for thousands of years. Some of it's exaggeration, some of it's local history that's pretty well known. With like just a quick Google search, I guess. There's some like names that have been spouted, some important dates, mostly like wars and stuff.
Yeah. Aman's gonna walk, step in line next to Lamarak, and he's not gonna drop his voice for like the rest of the team to hear, but like, okay, so the cave may have the gate, but are we expecting trouble?
Frankly, I'm not sure if we are, but I have the confidence that in this team that you can help me secure it.
Okay, trouble it is then, I guess.
How wheelchair friendly is this path we're taking anyway?
How what?
Friendly.
I didn't catch that.
How wheelchair friendly is this path? Isn't Minnie in a wheelchair right now?
She is. That's an excellent question.
Oh.
Wait, Minnie's in a wheelchair?
She is.
Why?
We'll get to that later.
Okay, because I did not know that.
Okay, hold on. Clearly,
I think we do need to get a catch up because I am more and more confused
Halo,
about what the hell happened.
we need the last
And
time.
Yeah.
We need a previously on Big
those-
Team.
There's too much information here
Because
to unpack
last I met,
before
he
continuing.
was hopping around and
These are
walking fine.
Fair questions, but we're half an hour into the session and we still don't have a mission yet. And like, I mean, we have a mission, but we're still kind of spinning our wheels. And I kind of like to get to a plot point before we start going backward in time. That's just my preference, especially since we have like hard cutoffs. So
Yep.
I promise we can do it previously on Big Team. I promise we'll do it.
Okay.
The wheelchair, it's a pretty bumpy ride. But like the trails themselves are pretty well worn, and there's like a few spots where it's like there have been wooden planks kind of inlaid into the dirt so that it's a smoother ride. It's like a group of maybe 10 people could like comfortably group and walk along the trail. And as well as horse carts.
Okay. Well, thank you, Manoline, for checking the wheelchair accessibility for Minnie's benefit.
Yep.
All right. And soon enough, you arrive this like kind of picnicky area. As the guide kind of continues, and then it's like a picnic / campsite / break site. It's pretty well cleaned up, and there's like a few plaques. There's like native bird species, flora, fauna, all of that, and there are a few trail markers that indicate like this is like the 5 kilometer, this is 10 kilometer, this is 2 kilometer. Each one promising their own scenic route. And Lamrack goes up and speaks with the guide, and yeah, the guide nods and heads back down the trail to the exit. And soon enough, the 6 of you are the 6 of you again. And he takes out a few like one of those like walking ski pikes. Hands them around to some of you. So, at this point, we will be leaving the marked trail and headed off as he draws his blade. Let me check something.
Wait, so if we're wandering off the trail, what about the bat? Because Minnie needs it.
That's the issue.
The wheelchair. It's possible I might be able to teleport her between her and the wheelchair along with myself. Am I teleporting?
So you'll be able to. Oh, go ahead, Minnie.
It's really no big deal. I can walk. I can just put the wheelchair in my book. Just someone has to make sure I don't wander off the trail, because there's so many pretty things to look at, and I want to look at all of them. But if you all stand in front of me, everything will be.
Maybe stand behind her too.
That.
I
Or-
will be leading the front, so if someone who's perceptive can stand behind Minnie, and she can be in the center of the group.
And just walks behind everyone.
That sounds perfect. It's just like our runes and reference party. You put the mage in the middle because they're the softest. So if you all stand around me, I'll be fine.
Or, you know what, just hop on. I'll carry you. Let's make that extra short.
Piggyback!
That's embarrassing. And we have a long walk. That's okay. Thank you, though.
It's not, I mean, I can do it.
I think Minnie just unstraps herself and she puts her wheelchair in her pocket dimension, and yeah, she waits to be surrounded by people that will keep her from wandering off to look at.
I surround her like she's the president.
Exactly like that.
And so the party forms.
And so the party forms. Yeah, so he's at this point Limerak is taking out his like big sword, like a great sword. And yeah, summons the big heavy plate armor, and as soon as the armor is finished summoning, you see the sword itself like the blade itself begins to kind of glow with kind of this iridescent-esque energy that seems to flash like a purple, a red, a blue, a green, a magenta, like it's at the very, it's like testing the very limits of what what you can perceive as color. Kind of giving off a very faint light that kind of glows off the armor.
Oh my god, all the Knights of the Round Table can summon like Gwen does.
I know, that's awesome!
You're way too enthusiastic.
Grins.
Oh my god.
Right, let's go.
So, seemingly, he goes into one part of the brush expecting you to follow. That, at first glance, seems to just be like a wall of, like, foliage and, like, tree, bush, grass. But as soon as you step in, you realize that he's kind of trailing a pattern. Like there's like a little gap here that you can fit through pretty easily. There's another one there. And despite the big heavy plate armor that would normally just be like clanking all over the place, his steps are pretty quiet. And like he seems to like bob and weave throughout the trees. As how would the rest of you think you'd be faring? How would the rest of you think you'd be faring in this?
Madeline be doing, I think, well. Any difficult parts you can just teleport past. So Madeline's will be there and helping anyone who's having any difficulty.
Cool. Harold would be doing a lot better if he wasn't continually, glancing backwards to check on the others, especially Minnie. So he probably, stumbles at a few spots or...
Yeah, you like turn back around just to check, and then you go back just to see a branch thwap you in the forehead.
Again. Yeah,
Again.
same spot.
And again.
Did you piss off a tree or something?
It's the fairies. It has to be.
Don't say their name, they might hear you.
You hear a sudden
Roll
little
it.
rustling in
Roll.
the woods. In the tree line, maybe a few meters away from you.
Don't make eye contact.
A bird suddenly
their
breaks
words were
through the tree
fine.
line.
Aww. I mean, it's still cool.
If there was ever if anyone had in mind that we were going to be stealthy on this mission, Minnie ruins that completely. She babbles incessantly the entire time, and she constantly needs help to not fall into a hole or trip over a rock or something. She's a
Manline's on
hindrance
that.
the entire.
Oh. Minnie has all the help she can get, I'm sure, with, 4 of us.
I want to say that Ren is also pitching in often to help her get around, but each time he has to either come in physical contact with her or guide her, even say something, the cheery tone is a little bit more neutral. Just a little bit.
Oh, by the way, Harold, can't you fly? So why are you having so much difficulty with this?
Where do you want me to fly right now,
Well, I mean,
trees
you can
around
just
us?
you can just hover slightly off the ground, when you need to.
He holds up finger, drops it.
I need to ask which finger.
No, it's like, wow. No, it's like, okay, yeah, just too used to, not floating everywhere to, secret identity bullshit and all that. I'll try floating.
He just turns to look at the person with the giant greatsword. Yeah, secret identity, sure.
No, I'm too used to not floating when I don't need to. As in, not. Never mind.
You're being hit by a ton of trees. I think you need to not be underground or something. I don't know.
Well,
I
trees
took
aren't
one
just...
branch to the face.
Well, at least you're not tripping over rocks. At least I can see that.
Madeline, you trip over a rock as you're arguing with Harold.
I teleport and catch myself.
Alright, you trip and stumble, and then you teleport forward and you stumble a bit further. But then you right yourself.
Why didn't you keep teleporting, Madeline?
Because I don't want to burn too much energy.
Fair. Good point.
Ren snickering in the distance.
You trip over a rock.
Aman will.
Red Streak's not even concentrating on anything that's going on. She's too busy, just making sure Minnie doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you've got like an
Bet-
iron eye on Minnie. I know it's not
Yeah.
iron eye, I know it's iron grip.
But Harold's going to grumble a little, but then he just sort of shrugs, grins, and will float.
Okay. So you continue walking through further into the woods, and occasionally, it's probably just a trick of the light, but it's like those shadows that you're casting and stuff, and some of the shadows in the trees. It's not like heavy shadow, but it's you can kind of see the sky, which is still pretty overcast, and right now the clouds are just getting darker and darker. And like you're walking through and the shadows kind of like flicker for a moment, but it's probably just the rustling leaves in the wind. Some of the lights kind of like casting kind of sparkles in the kind of background of the tree line. And occasionally, as you're trying to like not walk or trying to like maneuver your way around the woods, you see the odd mushroom or two that appears to kind of have these special kind of rings around them. Some of the leaves are like pink and purple. It starts gradually shifting. How many magic users do we have here? I'm not looking at you at all, don't worry.
You have a person to Madeline. I think we should.
Magic
I
user
guess?
in what capacity?
Yeah.
Any kind of capacity. Any kind of magical capacity.
Red streaking magical powers, does that count?
Well, if have you copied powers? Anyone with magic powers?
I mean, I can't copy minis because of the whole situation she's in.
Yeah. So right now you can't, you don't quite notice, like, yeah, right now you don't quite notice what the other magic users are noticing.
What's the magic taste like?
Well, that's the thing. As it's almost like Harold and Madeline, you can kind of taste, like, at the very tip of your tongue. You can't quite explain it. Maybe it's like a metallic kind of dew, but like it's got that kind of carbonated. The only word I can think of is crispiness.
I was about to say, is this carbonated Mountain Dew?
It's not carbonated Mountain Dew. Don't worry. It's got like a dewdrop taste. Kind of like if you were to pluck a blade of grass that had a dewdrop that had dew on it, and like just like, you know, stick it in your mouth to see what it would taste like, and slightly metallic. You definitely recognize the taste of magic. Minnie, for you kind of like get that sense that like there's magic, but you can't, like, it's like kind of like white noise.
Okay, that's fair. That's better than I thought she would do, considering she has no powers right now.
Yeah. You have like a really good, like, or not good, but you're very familiar with magic.
That is true. I guess in that case, and since the something is cutting through the distraction of everything, I think Minnie would maybe take notice of the mushroom circles and go over to one of them and try and ascertain their purpose, see if there's any connection to the rest of the magical je ne sais quoi that is surrounding us.
Red streak immediately follows behind Minnie as she does that.
Yeah, the presence of magic itself acts as a sort of white noise, but like for the senses more so than just like the hearing. Give me an unleash your powers.
Does it matter that Minnie has no powers?
Yeah, this is to extend your senses to try and understand.
Unleash my powers when I have no powers.
Since assess and like pierce and stuff doesn't really make sense here directly.
Remember, it's not about having powers, it's about believing in yourself.
Exactly.
The powers of an ordinary Dell.
The power of friendship.
See, she
Alright,
believes.
My senses are extended.
Boom.
You see everything.
The third eye opens.
I see sounds and I hear color.
Synesthesia.
I'm not going to continue that train of thought. That has crashed and burned. So you were trying to kind of ascertain what about the mushrooms?
What their purpose is, if it's connected to everything else that's going on, and just sort of get a general sensation of, like, are we on the right track? Do we want to be surrounded by magic, or is this going to be trouble? Is this going to be an ambush?
Okay. In that case, you can discern that the mushrooms themselves, they are magical, and as you like kind of like pluck one, not in like the drug way. Not
No. Madeline would stop her from crossing it. I don't remember much, but I remember that messing with fairy rings is a bad thing, magic.
It's not no, it's not like a fairy ring mushroom. It's like mushrooms that have like a ring pattern on them.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was... Okay.
Yeah, I heard someone say that it was more like fairy rings. No, it's like some of them look like they're in fairy rings, but this is like just a cluster. So you kind of, as you hold it, you kind of feel the like roots of the mushrooms themselves. I don't know how mushrooms work. It's connected to some of the more like ethereal looking trees, which is connected to some of the like kind of magical looking plants, and they all seem to lead towards one direction. And the sense, it's less of an ominous type of sense that like, oh, you're headed into like the wrong place or like the dead end, and more so that you're headed towards where you've desired to go, and you're following the path that you've decided to go to go down.
Okay. Since there's no bad news to report, I think Minnie says nothing, and she happily skips along the path, making it difficult for people to look after her, because that's what she...
Well, Red Street just goes straight behind her.
And Lion is following closely behind. If this fairy's about, Minnie's the worst person to have about.
There's another sound of a branch hitting someone's forehead. Ow!
Seriously,
I'm okay.
Life.
Yeah, as I guess you're all going further ahead, Lemrock is now like looking back behind you and kind of speeding up, because he was going at a pretty slow pace, just so you all could catch up, but seeing that you're having only minor inconveniences, thwap. No, that didn't hit Harold, that hit you, Ren.
I'm just saying, is Harold going to be alive by the end of this? He's taking a lot of bludgeoning damage.
He's got a few, like, scrapes across his forehead. There's one really big welt that's starting to kind of swell up and appear.
He's a strong boy. He'll be okay.
He kind of picks up the pace a bit, and, let's see, he... like kind of like points out and starts explaining some of the different types of like magical foliage that is now starting to take over. Like before it was like maybe 5% of the forest, now it's upwards of like 30% of the forest is magical trees. There are some rocks that have like, they, upon closer inspection, they look like they have veins running through them of this like sparkling metallic gold ore, but it's not gold, it's something else.
Like trees?
No, the trees themselves have like wildly different colors, and some of them are blooming. Like one of them was growing, and then it just completely went sideways, but like branches were still sprouting out the top.
So, alright, no, Avalonian Fae are different from Feywild Fae, but Fae nonetheless. This is weird.
I don't think
Aman's just gonna call out to Lamorak and like, Avalonian? The trees and the plants and everything?
Yeah, he nods for a moment. Yes, these are all, various breeds of Avalonian, forest. Some of these flowers are very recognizable. From what I've studied here, they do not appear to grow in this world, which means that we're on the right path, because from what I've understood from studying, these... The bleeding of magic of a place that is rich with Avalonian magic changes the nature around around it. Which means we're
Speaking of
headed on the right
nature.
path.
Woo!
Excuse me, nature. How is this affecting at least my magic?
Let's see. Do you test it out to see if your magic is fine?
He's gonna try and access his phone with his hacking powers. See what happens.
You open your phone. Of course, you have no signal because you're in the middle of the woods now. And even further, magic just with the signal. It seems that kind of like how vibrations move through water, it's much easier for you to like instantly get that connection. But it's got like a different kind of flavor to it. That's the easiest way to explain it. So instead of like super techno magic digital stuff, it's got I feel like natural like embroidered
Earthy.
stuff. Like the actual paths themselves look more like vines reaching out versus like sharp neon lines.
Yeah, I imagine that he's his displays have turned green instead of their usual blue.
Yeah, it's shifted towards more challenge brand teal.
Alright, so magic's easier to use, but it's been aspected towards the local magic, right?
Yeah, it shifts and blends.
Now, careful using that eye. The magic will give you a boost, but it's gonna change it a bit.
Wait, change it?
It's gonna take on the local flavor, if you will.
Okay.
For better than worse. You'll understand when you use your powers.
Yeah, gotcha.
Are you flying right now,
And-
Harold?
Harold's going to ask the eye to essentially keep an eye out for anything weird or out of place or
But
you know. More like alright.
in that case, give me an assess the situation.
-3 from the pun.
Oh, come on.
With a -6.
Yeah,
I'm
my
joking.
plus
Yeah, I will not give
You
you a
don't,
-6.
don't even know that long in masks.
There you go.
Not yet.
Now the third eye definitely opens.
Okay.
I know everything.
Again, yes, the eye itself seemingly connects, and it's like it's like putting a glass of water underwater. It immediately just everything. It embraces everything. And like you can feel the eye itself like kind of reaching out in a metaphorical sense, because and like you can like sense as you're walking through, you're still seeing where you're going and you're walking carefully, but it's like in your mind's eye. That really is the third eye. You're just looking at your left and right flanks, behind you, above, like looking at everywhere all at once, projecting into your head. Ask your questions.
Yeah, hold on. Whoa, hey, okay. That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's not to the point where it's like sickeningly overpowering, but it's still like something. It's
I mean,
come
it's
to you so
sudden,
much easier. Yeah.
Wow, I don't know what contextually makes sense right now. Lamarak is leading us, so... What here is... I feel like these two might be the best. Just search, right? How could we best end the search? No, leave that. Lamarak has a sword. What here is the biggest threat and what here is in the greatest danger?
Everything, us.
Yeah, that would be cool.
As the eye is traveling through the magic and like experiencing every single angle all at once, and feeding that information back to the brain, Right now, it appears that what here is in the greatest danger. The woods themselves appear to be in the greatest danger, as the biggest threat manifests itself, and not literally, but like you see through like the lovely sparkling trunk of one tree that looks like the midnight sky, there's little black roots that are like almost that they suck the color out. It's almost akin to Vanta Black, where almost no light like shines on it or reflects off of it, and you see that it's very slowly making its way up the tree from one part. And it's like this is happening to like maybe one scrub, maybe one fairy ring is just completely black like a void. One tree is like partially slightly consumed. Whatever it is, it seems to be originating from one point. But it's very faint.
Okay, would this point be the direction Lamarak just took?
The direction that all of you are headed, which is the same
Yes.
direction that the cave is in.
It's that one direction.
It is! Everyone else?
I don't have
Okay,
to
sorry.
continue this Dennet.
Yeah, he actually going to bring that to Lamarak's attention. If there's any other visible signs for these black roots, but also point it out to the rest. But, yeah.
I'm surprised. Well, I'm not quite surprised that you've noticed, considering points to the eye. He points to his eye, but like he means your eye.
Yeah, no.
I had noticed a few as well. Again, they're originating from the cave, which is concerning, but that is why we are working as a team to potentially defeat this threat and secure the gate.
Okay, you're gonna have to give us more. What is it?
I frankly don't quite know myself. I've seen some of these roots of corruption before, but I had not gone further into it since it was such a rare occurrence. It is likely due to some other magic that has invaded and is per se drinking the life force of these woods.
Did you know this was happening before we all came in here, or is it a now thing?
It is sadly a now thing,
Okay.
which is an issue, but I think we can overcome it. You, Manaline, both have shown off magical powers, which could likely push it back, but again, we'll have to pull the weed from the root.
Okay, we're here. Little late for intel and all of that. But, alright. We keep away from the roots. Until we find the source, right?
Redshift, make sure Minnie doesn't go near them.
Also that.
Yes, sir.
Alright. So you all continue your trek further in until eventually it feels like minutes, hours, days. You can't quite tell, as the sky itself appears to have been taken over by the foliage. There isn't a single ray of sun beaming through. Not even a single, like, sparse ray. It's not pitch black, and there are bioluminescent, some more and more bioluminescent as the woods around you has become more and more more and more magical. It's up to like 50 to 70% magical. You notice that the roots themselves, there have been far fewer, but where they are, it's like half a tree is black, or an entire bush has been sprouting black berries. Not blackberries, black space berries.
Cold-berries?
That, like, a few of them are on the ground, and they appear to have, like, an acidic property to the ground below them.
Well, then we're gonna need a really, really strong weed killer here. I mean, you can cut those things, right?
He brandishes the sword, giving it a nice flourishing twirl, and then just cuts the brush, and the berries themselves wither, and kind of like give like a as whatever was keeping them from basically rotting on the spot was the actual life essence of the bush itself, which has now been cut.
Well, that's something to know. Maybe we don't need that weed killer anymore.
We are the weed killer.
Yeah!
But some weeds can be good.
That's a first.
Try not to destroy anything unless you need to. Like I said, we don't know the natural ecosystem. We don't really want to throw that out of balance.
You might not know the natural ecosystem, but I've studied this for years. Don't worry.
See? Just ask for permission. Everything's gonna be fine. Sorry,
Any last words?
You know what? Just one day we'll go on an international thing and not have it be crazy.
Vacation would be nice, but right now we have work to do. Hold, and he like puts a fist up. Do you all stop as he stops?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I wish to receive a coronary whap on the face for that.
I mean, it'd be funnier if you were like all walking in a line, and it's like one person stops, and another person stops, and then the rest just kind of like into each
We
other.
whap each other.
Okay, sure. I mean, he did say
Minnie
halt.
doesn't-
So, sorry, go on, hello.
Minnie does not stop.
Okay.
Minnie Madeline grabs Minnie.
You end up getting kind of like, you stumble a bit as Red
know
Streak,
what?
you kind of trip over Manoline's leg, and Ren, you just kind of just fall forward. It seems that Harold is the only one left standing, as the rest of you are kind of like
Floating.
on the ground.
So, what is it?
He points there, and does like the sideways point turns, where you can all see this very tiny, well, not tiny, but like moderately large opening that's like a bit it's not a bit of a climb. It's like a bit further ahead, and you see these three whites, like what is it, limestone? I think limestone, like slabs of rock that are jutting out from the ground, and there's like one slab that's kind of like shifted on top of them, kind of like a doorway almost that's it seems to kind of jut out slightly from the mountain. There are a few other slabs that mostly look natural, also kind of jutting out in a similar fashion from the sheer rock face that goes on for maybe 20 meters or so above before the kind of forest line continues.
Ooh.
And to the magic users, the air is now heavy with the essence of magic.
I'm just assuming using magic in this is going to be very powerful but very dangerous. Am I correct?
Are you saying that in character?
Yeah, he's saying that in character. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all you gotta do is just hold out and learn to control yourself. That's all part of life, don't worry. And the non-magic users, Red Streak, you kind of feel this, like, very faint. It's almost similar to the white noise Minnie was feeling. But this time it's like very faint. Similar with you, Ren. It's kind of like that buzz of technology, but instead it's a buzz of something else. That's like, if you focus on basically anything else, which like it's impossible. It's difficult, not to do. Like it kind of like goes to the back of your mind and almost forget about it.
That's is that what you is that how you're feeling right now? Because I can't focus.
Like you can focus, fine. It's just as soon as you're not focusing on something, it kind of you notice it.
This is weird. And he just sort of shakes his head.
So it's just, but not distracting. It's just there.
I find sometimes touting in your head didn't help with dealing with it. Like, you know, stop 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Well, whatever works, I guess. Happy thoughts. And now I'm wondering who passed the exam last week.
Not all the thoughts are happy. But they're sufficiently distracting. Like you can still focus on your on the task at hand. All right. This is the cave, and like he looks further in, and you start to walk closer to it, and you see that like with the adjusting light, you can barely see inside. That's just like a result of like, you know, pupils not being dilated.
Madeline will bring out his glasses and get him to adjust.
It's weird. They work slightly, but not like it's like someone has increased the gamma on your computer monitor, let's say.
Lowers the gamma levels.
Then you're blind.
I think Minnie pulls out her cell phone and turns on the flashlight feature that also.
Yeah.
Woohoo, have fun with the battery. God, I nearly threw my phone out the window today. So the flashlight itself seems to kind of be, it seems to penetrate the darkness similarly. And it's like, it's not, it's giving kind of a boost to Manoline's sight, but it's not quite, like, full. And at that point, actually, Lamrock takes out a torch, or like this, like, stick, from his, I guess, backpack. And takes out one of those, like, takes out a lighter, yeah. And actually puts it against the wall and lights it, and there's this flame, this arc of flame that shoots up maybe 3 feet into the air. kind of like one of those like fire breather acts.
Whoa.
And it goes back down to like a normal torch level. But you can see there's like a scorch mark against the wall that's like kind of like the outline of the burning part itself, which like it looks really cool. And you see as the light itself casts against the actual white stone, because right now it looks like it's mixing between white stone and kind of just regular cave stone. Against the white stone, it appears to like give off this like a very luminous color, similar to what was seen earlier with the sword, where it's all like rainbowy and prismatic almost. And the flame itself, it's not like a burning red, it's a burning like crystalline blue.
Well, we know this place is magic. There's a flair for the dramatic.
Well,
Ran is going to awkwardly turn off his flashlight he just pulled out from his pants and tuck it in quietly.
I think it's best that you all save your batteries. and he takes the torch and splits it into it's almost like one of those magic tricks. And it just splits into 5 slightly smaller torches that he hands to all of you.
Do we trust Minnie the fire?
Wordlessly and quietly, Ren is going to take one torch and then the other that was supposed to go to Minnie with a gentle smile and a slightly awkward laugh.
Yeah.
No one trusts Minnie right now. She's anything.
It's more,
Probably.
we're just trying to keep Minnie safe, so
Do you blame us?
yeah. Grabs her arm. Stick close.
All right. So you venture into the cave. And some of the your shadows are cast really long due to the fire, and it kind of bounces off one wall, bounces off another wall, the prismatic effect. It's not like it's not like completely blinding. It's more so just like tricks of the light, as though it were shining through glass. And like you step through, you hear like the drip, 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 and like the kind of in the distance you hear like a
Ooh, there's water here.
A rock, as like a few like pieces of gravel kind of tumble past, clearly not having been touched for you don't know how long. At some points the cave is narrow and you like have to like squeeze through. You gotta take off your backpacks and like kind of like suck in and then kind of waddle your way through, and then you gotta crawl sometimes. And some parts of the cave like actually extend further up and then further down into this large chamber filled with like some of them have like stalactites and stalagmites dripping down. This is where you heard the source of the dripping. Partially.
Maybe we shouldn't have brought Minnie on this.
I have certain thoughts.
I mean, Minnie hasn't been out since she got out of prison. And who knows? Probably be useful.
Madeline just goes to say something and just closes his mouth and just moves on.
I'm gonna assume that Minnie has like headphones on, since people are talking about her and not to her, and she's present, just so that she doesn't start bitching at people.
Oh yeah.
You can bitch at people.
I'm defending Minnie.
I could, but also that would be a digression that I don't, as a player, I don't.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
fair. Alright, let's keep moving then.
All right, so yeah, you
Wherever
walk
this is taking us.
further and further into the cave. Again, the pattern, the paths themselves. At first, they look like completely like, how are you able to cross this? Or it's this impossible to cross. But like, points out a direction, points out kind of like, oh, you can go around here, and then it's soon enough like you wonder for a moment like why this path was never visible. And as
Fey
you turn,
magic.
sorry.
Fey magic. It messes with you.
He turns back and yeah, he notices kind of everybody but Minnie has a torch, and everybody but Minnie has their ears clear and ready to listen. And kind of stops the group for a second. Hey, he would know your hero name, so he would call you by your hero name. Hellion?
Ren is going to give
What's
Minnie a
Over
slight.
here? This doesn't look like a place. There's nothing interesting here. What's going on? This trip is taking.
Don't worry, we're almost there. So where he notices that Ren, you're holding both torches.
Yep, but one of the torches is right next to Minnie. Like he's walking shoulder by shoulder. If possible.
I think it's better that you hold that torch and before everybody interjects, he kind of like takes the torch, takes his like puts it on the ground for a moment, takes off his gauntlet and like the glove, and it's like his bare hand. He takes the torch, sticks his hand in it. It's fine. Kind of like plays around with the flames a bit. It's perfectly fine.
Okay.
This is simple light that Merlin had decided to make it look like fire.
Slow nod. Magic flame. I should have known. And gingerly hands Minnie the torch.
It won't hurt you, don't worry.
Lost words.
It only hurt like magical constructs, let's say.
Okay, just
So if you've got like a
lead
little,
with that next. Yeah.
my bad. Okay, so all of you now have torches as you head further into the cave.
Make sure you keep them on. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Make sure you keep them on you at all times, otherwise you might be eaten by a Drew.
Yeah, don't think there's anything here. Let's keep going.
Okay. So you keep going further in. There's one part of the kind of hall that is it's slick with moisture, but it's also slick with this kind of glowy moss. Custard, we're getting a bit of background noise from you.
Is it better? Still there?
I think, yeah.
We hear you.
Yeah, we hear you. Okay.
No, the background noise. Is it gone?
Yeah, it's gone for now. It's not picking up. It might be like a fan or something. It's this moss. It's like red, but it's kind of like a sparkly crimson red that looks like if you accidentally dropped a bunch of glitter on a shag carpet. Is that the word for it?
Gross.
I think that's the word for it. Yeah. It kind of looks like that, and it's like you see little patterns of like water dripping down in it, and in the flames themselves, the moss itself like sparkles and reflects back. And Lamorak goes, you know, velvet moss is kind of fun. It's good healing. Good for healing too.
Manoline's going to take a sample of some of the velvet moss.
Alright, so yeah, you scrape off a bit and it comes into... What do you use to store it? You just like shove it in your pocket?
I imagine he's got a test tube in his storage watch. Oh, Manoline does chemistry. He doesn't do alchemy, but he does chemistry.
Hey, you mind sharing after we're done?
Weed.
I was literally about to say the same thing.
Manoline just ignores the comment.
No, I'm serious. I didn't bring any research equipment. And I'm fairly sure the group at home would love to get their hands on some of that. Like,
You know what?
there is not a single bit of irony or innuendo or joke on his face painted right now.
He's not going to argue that he takes out a spare test tube and just hands it to you.
Ren takes it, bows his head like 3 times, thank you, thank you, thank you, and scrapes it a little bit himself. Oh, they're gonna be so happy, oh!
Oh my god, this guy is way too hyper for his own good.
What
So
do people
while
mean
the
by
boys
that?
are taking small samples of this stuff, Minnie is just like taking whole, I don't know, sheets of it, just like hanging it over her arm and shoving it into her book.
You're practically
I was
healed.
this close, sure that you were going to say that she's shoving it down her throat.
Nah, I'm.
I was gonna wear the moss like around her arms like a cape.
I thought she was going to make a tea out of it.
Well, what's Minnie gonna do with it? She's draping
Nothing
it
at the moment. She's just saving it for later. She
Minnie-
puts it in her book and saves it.
Okay.
Easy on the moss, okay?
Don't take all of it, so at least it can regrow.
Why do we have to leave any here? It's clear that Sam and Ren want a whole bunch of it, and they just brought tiny little test tubes. Doesn't look like they're prepared, but I can take a...
I didn't say take
Yeah, but
all of it.
I mean, look, just okay. Don't let any of it. Never mind. You'll be fine. Just not spend a lot of time here. Yeah.
Let's move on.
Come on.
Okay. So you move closer in. Minnie, you look absolutely fabulous with the torchlight kind of glittering off your moss sleeves. It's very stimulating, actually. Because, like, it's providing basically a light show, I guess. And you approach a series of it looks kind of like an underground ravine of sorts, as you're all stopped again, like this time with more like evidence, like take it slow, okay, stop, and then yeah, you don't bump into each other this time.
Manline takes his phone out and checks the sea level.
The sea level? Oh, the sea level?
Yeah, I have. You don't have to give a precise number to say. You can just say it's just deep or something.
I don't know what horsepower is. I'm checking sea level. I don't trust myself. Okay. Glastonbury is at a 69-foot altitude. Okay. I love it. Nice. Okay.
How very appropriate.
You're way too amused by the concept of sea level.
So it's right now you're actually maybe 200 feet, 300 feet above sea level. It didn't feel like an incline per se at all when you were walking, but you're about 300 feet.
Okay. Madeline puts his phone back. That's interesting.
What is?
We appear to be about 300 feet above sea level.
What? How?
Magic!
Pretty much.
Okay, yeah.
I know it's a sad bullshit excuse, but you know.
I mean, folding space isn't that difficult.
Tell me about it.
He raises his hands for a high five. Fist bump.
Fair enough, he does the fist bump.
As you're standing on the cliff edge over the ravine, it's like pitch black. The light, the actual cliff edge itself is made of the white limestone, but the kind of mostly sudden drop, there's like a very slight downcline of like maybe 45 degrees or so, and then it's just a drop at some places. But it appears to be mostly made of white stone, but the light does not extend down, and you do not see how deep it is.
So we're going over, or are we going down? He looks towards the night.
Kind of looks around and checks. Kind of wanders further in a bit, kind of gesturing for you to kind of make a line behind him as you're kind of walking along the edge. There, and you see this like stone
Floating,
floating along. But it's kind of strange. It's weird. It feels like the gravity itself is more intense, and you're having to focus harder to float. You're lower than you're lower than how you were traveling earlier, so it's like if you were like a foot off the ground, maybe you're 6 inches or so off the ground, half the height. And Ren, now just the magic, it's completely cut off. Red Streak, the magic is completely cut off. Minnie, it is barely a whisper in your ear, and to the both of you, it feels a lot less strong here. It feels like something else is kind of overpowering and dragging the magic down.
My, oh my, that's... Oh.
Does whatever this thing that is dragging the magic down feel... does it feel like bad or uncomfortable or gloomy or in any way similar or familiar or negative, the way that Minnie's growing collection of demons might?
It doesn't feel like any demon you've encountered. Give me a second, actually. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it doesn't feel like any demon you've encountered.
Does it feel like horror terrors or deep spirit or anything like that? Those are all...
No, it's got kind of the Avalonian flavor to it.
Unseelie?
Not really per se, but you arrive to the bridge nonetheless. The kind of stone bridge, and it's like a slab that was probably a stalagmite. No, not a stalagmite, a stalactite, my bad. That had fallen down, and like a few stalagmites had begun to grow out of it. Because stalactite, head. Thank you, French.
Stone bridge, huh?
It'd be a bit of a difficult cross for you to all make it through, and Lamrock takes out some batons and some mountain climbing gear. Like, he is geared up and ready to go.
Can Madeline try and see if you can find a safe way through for the team?
Well, right now this is the safest way through.
Alright,
No teleporting?
Are you gonna try and teleport?
Madeline's gonna teleport a rot and see how that goes.
Okay,
Look.
you go to teleport, and
Not myself, I'm teleporting a rot.
what?
I'm not teleporting myself, I'm teleporting a rot.
A rock?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me an unleash.
As long as a Balrog doesn't show up, we'll be fine.
I
Okay.
knew that would go badly. That's why I teleported a rot.
So the rock itself teleports just fine. You teleport it. You focus harder than you've ever had to focus on teleportation, and the rock just goes.
I have a feeling I teleported the wrong rot.
No, you teleported the rock, and it landed on the other side, and then it kind of bounced up.
I
And
said
then
a rot, not the big strab rot.
no, a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just took a random fist-sized rock,
Yeah.
put it on the ground, teleported it. It teleported to the other side, and then it kind of the force of it. It teleported maybe a foot and a half up in the air, and then it just kind of clattered down, and then it clattered into the ravine.
I'm assuming if a person were to teleport, that would be bad for them, correct?
I mean, do you go and teleport yourself next? Because the
Specifically
rock
what
worked out
happened
just
to the rock?
fine.
Alright.
Better aim next time, Madeline?
It landed a bit closer to the edge than you'd like, but you could probably make it balanced.
Yeah, Madeline will focus a bit more on this one.
You might not be able to, but you gotta focus.
You know what? Should we just do it the safe mountain climbing way? He'll teleport if anyone falls, but yeah.
Alright, look, Sir Lamorak, how would I fly the rope over to the other side? Get this done faster?
Are you sure that you can fly right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's, feels a little tougher than usual, but...
Well, at that point,
How about I try?
you realize that your feet are planted firmly on the ground now.
Okay, I should be floating right now, but...
I can
What's
try.
going on? Yeah.
How?
Well, I kindly asked for permission since this is missions on behalf of the big team, and I can use my equipment here.
Oh, alright, go ahead.
Sweet.
So, over to the other side. Can we see the other side from here, by the way?
It's very dim. But yeah, it's maybe... How long is this? If that's 10 feet. It's maybe 20-25 feet across.
You got this, Boreas.
Can I get that in metric?
25.
What is a foot?
Don't bully your GM.
25.
No, wait.
I know, it's like, whoa, wait.
7.62 meters.
Easy
Yeah.
peasy.
No, fuck it. Let's
Oh.
just make it 10 meters. 10 meters there. 10 meters.
Sure, that works. Ren is just going to grin wildly that finally some action's gonna happen, and he just hops off from the side.
Plummet into the cave? Or into the abyss?
Plummet into the abyss with a bright light because it's transformation time.
Heck yeah!
Do the anime
Do
magical girl transformation.
Of course. His clothing is quickly overlaid with a sort of skin-tight suit with like lines coming along with the spine and the back of his hands and arms, and from these lines quickly fold the pieces of his armor until he's fully equipped. The helmet clicks over his ears and his head, and the visor comes together. The shield parts jut from the back, and immediately he goes into hover mode and flies back up with a woo!
I thought you just rolled randomly. Okay, so you hear Lamrack shouting, and you see the rest of you see him dig at Paptain with like efficiency, wrap it around, tie a knot, and then like he's about to go cascading down, to like go out and reach, before Ren just shoots up. And you nearly hit your head against the top of the cavern, because maybe like another 10 meters tall.
Well, that was not as much as I expected. Hovers down a little bit, but this place isn't that difficult. I mean, the air here is okay. The air here is okay.
That will never not be cool, dude.
Just like Sailor Moon!
I know, right? That's what I first thought when they gave it to me. So, let's go with the rope.
Okay.
Yeah,
Limerick like scales back up, and like for a moment he's like shocked and like dumbfounded, like these fucking kids. But like it quickly like transferred. It's less of a Galahad, these fucking kids, and more of like these fucking kids. Holy shit! It transfers immediately from shock into that. It's like, well then, now. Good thing I picked the big team. And like he hands you a rope, with a baton attached to it and like a hammer. I got my line secure here.
So I just need to get it over. I'm kind of poor at survival. Just get this over and plant it firmly on the other side.
Yeah, you could tie it around one of the stalagmites. Probably that one, and he points. You can't quite see it, but it's like you can kind of make out like this like pretty hefty stalagmite that's probably been there for like maybe a few thousand years.
Okay, I'll get it done in just a second. Grabs the rope and zoops into the other side, doing as he was instructed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so while Ren is doing that, Boreas is doing that, Harold's going to take a step back, just make sure the ground's sturdy enough. And he doesn't like the fact that, he can't kick off and fly when that's just super easy and smooth.
Rubbing it in.
So, hey, not rubbing. But yeah, this is a whole lot of weird with the magic and the sensing, and look, I'm right here, but while Boreas takes care of that, I'm gonna figure something out. Red Streak, Mana Line. Keep an eye on Hellion.
Okay.
Of course, Harold.
Yeah. And he will, lean against the wall, close his eyes, and relinquish, just for a moment, all senses to the Eye of Horus. Let's see why the goddamn hell we can't fly and what's going on.
He's doing the thing!
You can't see that.
Yeah.
I feel like
Actually, no, you can. The eye itself gives a pretty hefty glow.
Yeah.
What are you rolling?
It's moonlight. Out of this world.
Ah, my favorite move. Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Why is that your favorite move?
Because I can't read it.
Oh.
Alright. Oh, God. Oh,
I'll paste it here.
Yeah, I'm so... Why
You
do
go.
I never...
It's cool.
This is
Fine.
the first time
There,
I haven't
you
opened
have
up
it.
the thing that has all the moves.
You have it.
Interesting insight about your current problems in the situation. Tim will tell you why. You can also shift your own labels to match your new understanding. So I do this. Okay, so you shift your labels after. Alright.
After you tell me, yeah.
After I tell you. So you tune into the eye and it glows brighter and brighter as the rest of you can see. Actually, Harold, you almost have this out-of-body experience as you're kind of like it's kind of like in Doctor Strange when you get like when you get like popped out of your body and you like your presence kind of like teleports or like goes out, and this time you can kind of like fly, I guess, and it's very slow. It's kind of like you're swimming almost, but you can like propel yourself forward without kicking even. You see everyone else, and you see yourself overlooking, kind of standing, eye closed, I guess. And you kind of look around for a bit, and like the lights themselves being cast by the eye are more like, they're less of this like blooming rainbow cascade, and more of a like a mirage-esque waves of like sun over a desert, kind of creating a mirage almost. And like you kind of hover before suddenly you're thrust downwards. You feel it's like you're walking over and something pulls you down in your like astral presence.
Crap.
No one else hears you swearing and cursing like, oh shit.
Obviously.
As you get pulled down further and further and further into the ravine. And soon enough, it's just pitch black all around you as you start to hear, like, a whisper here, a whisper there. And you kind of drift further down, and then eventually you actually, it feels like you're less so that you're going down now, and more that you actually, it's like that moment in a water slide when you're going straight down, and then you just zoop to the side before you head back up. That kind of like thrill of just the arc itself, before you go further and you go through what appears to be like a network of tunnels, and it looks like hollowed out, like an ant farm almost, in kind of like presence, that's like interconnecting like a wave before you like shoot out and you see this large cavern before you, and there's like around your vision itself there's this rim of black that's slowly and further encasing into your vision, almost like you're closing your eyes almost, but it's the same pitch black darkness that has invaded your vision. And as it before it completely takes over, you see something.
No.
This it's faint. It's like it's barely glowing. This kind of white rim that looks like a diamond shape embedded into the ground, and then you can almost make out the details. And then you're thrust back into your body as you shoot back out, and it's almost like your like being is projected back into yourself with such force that you get knocked back a few feet, not over the edge, it like back further into the wall.
I'd say since he was already almost a gasp and a little bit of a scream hits the wall hard, stumbles a bit forward and is like, that has also never happened before.
Oh, hey, do you want to give us the quick down low?
Yeah, just a second.
Shift your labels.
Yeah, I will.
In that hot second, shift your labels.
You can shift your
I've
labels,
never
you can.
understood this exactly. If it's me who does it or the GM, wording feels a bit
It's
weird.
you can
You
shift
can
your
also
own
shift your
labels.
own labels, not the GM shifts your
Oh.
labels.
That's only if you
Okay,
fail.
my own.
I've been reading
got
up
it.
on how to like understand the rules in this specific wording.
This is a tough one. But that was freaky. Definitely. Extra freaky with what I'm about to tell everyone, so freak up.
Oh, and at that point, you could
Uh.
almost hear. It was a very faint sound through the rush that you can't tell if it was the air whistling past you or the magic whistling past you as you basically went and just dove into magic like a pool. You heard the faintest of laughter.
Okay, that means savior down. That is not. None of that is good news. Yeah. I kinda got. I mean, every time I've used this, I've sort of been in control, but I got dragged along like I wasn't doing what I was doing, and deep down somewhere there's just darkness, a lot of darkness, and he's gonna give them the entire play-by-play on everything before he looks at Lamorak, just fixes his eyes on him and is like, I heard laughter, and I saw this, and he's going to. It's not the best illusion he's ever conjured, just because how faintly he saw it, but he'll conjure up that glowing stone he saw in the darkness.
It looks similar to the black hole picture, let's say. Except instead of orange, it's white.
He'll still show it to Lamorak.
Yeah. So... Dennet, we're getting a bit of background noise from you.
Yeah? Okay.
Okay, thanks. Sorry. Let's see. It kind of... the illusion itself, it's very faint and it, like, waves very slightly and it's, like, very dim because it seems that the presence of magic here has been siphoned away compared to the other parts of the cave. And he tries to like look at it a bit closely. Well, that could be the arch.
Down, all the way down?
This cave is a mystery network.
Yeah, look, there's a lot more than just magic siphoning going on here. Like, I heard laughter, or like, wherever part of me was, whatever that was, astral projection, something like that. I don't know, but
akin to laughter.
Okay, yeah, I heard a noise. Like, I can't. It was. I don't know. It sounded like someone laughing. I can't tell. Look. I don't know what's going on here, but
this is strange.
Yeah, I've never been freaked out like this while zoning out.
He kind of crosses his arms and thinks for a little, looks down into the cavern. Well, if you could all then follow onto the other side of the bridge to see where the rest of it goes. I'll hold it down from behind and, takes out ropes, hooks, to make sure that, like, if you fall off the thing, then you're hooked in.
Yeah. Mana line?
Yeah.
Minnie? Does any of this bring something up for either of you? Because I
So
don't like it.
as you look up to address Minnie, while everyone was distracted by your recounting of your vision, Minnie has made her way over to the edge, and she is looking into the darkness that sucked Almond down in his vision, and she pitches her torch over the edge to try and get any kind of view of what lies below. Like she's following the torch as it falls, and if that doesn't help her figure out what lies below them, then she's going to try and like tune into the static that everybody is feeling that is distracting them, and try and get information from that.
All right. So you pitch the torch and it goes down, further down. And whereas normally the light would just go dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, you throw it down and it like illuminates part of the wall, parts of it, because it's not full limestone. It goes and then suddenly it just black, pitch black. It cuts off. Like it got swallowed by the darkness instead of just falling. And you don't hear the noise of it hitting the ground. If it hit the ground.
Okay. What does the static have to tell Minnie as she lets it
Do you plug
do
in?
whatever it's going to do? Yes, she does.
Okay, plug in.
What is this? An assess? A freak?
Do you not have plug into the cosmic aether?
I do not have that.
Oh, okay. In that case, then assess.
Hey.
Okay, so you focus into that. You focus, and the static becomes louder and louder, to the point where it's almost unbearable. Because this kind of static, it was different from like the pleasant noise of the forest. Noise as in like noise, not like sound. And like you feel yourself drawn into the void, as it almost like goes up to reach and meet you. Like you feel that kind of connection. What are your questions?
I'm gonna mention my special one first, so you have time to think about it.
21st century studies.
Yes. What does the future know about this moment? You can think about that for a little bit. I
have planned it out.
Okay, good. So if you have an answer, go for it.
Okay. What does the future know about this moment? As you go and kind of reach into the void, like from within yourself, reaching out, it feels as though as soon as you feel like you've touched against the black void that swallowed the torch, a burst of like 6 visions kind of like hits one after another. The first one is yourself. You see for like a split second almost a this large cavern full of like reflective crystals jutting out from every which way, like if you were to break open one of those what is it called? Like it's like those geodes. Yes, if you were to break open one of those geodes, that's what it would look like on the that's what it looks like on the inside. You see Harold standing over a pool. You see Manoline, and there are these stalagmites jutting up from the ground, onyx black, and you see Red Streak standing before this like pillar almost that looks like it's got a set of natural kind of steps that look like fallen stalagmites where they and stalactites where they've connected into the stalagmites. You see Ren. Let me see here. You see Ren standing over another kind of sort of cliff, per se. It's not quite... It's more of a ledge standing out. Was that 5 or 6? I said 6.
That's 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lamrack would be the last one.
You do not see Lamrack. Instead, you see this... contrasting against the darkness that you saw before, it's almost blinding, this last one, where it's this large white kind of geometric arch, like emblazoned with different patterns and different designs, full of you can't quite make out things, but you see this white fire bloom from the center, bloom from the edges, emanating into the center before it shoots out a pillar of light towards your perspective, and you flash back. And as you flash back, it's almost like you took a few steps towards the ledge. What are your other 2 questions?
How could we best end this quickly?
I completely forgot about the other 2 questions. How could we best end this quickly? It seems that the cavern has answers that could lead you to your destination fast.
What here can I use to get those answers from the cavern?
Your legs. To walk into them and embrace the darkness. And that's where we'll take our break. Our little 5-minute break. 'Cause I really have to pee.
Well, that wasn't ominous whatsoever.
No?
Okay, so last we left off, the ravine held the answers. We'll cut to Ren. You've tied the rope off, and, you're kind of looking around waiting for everybody to make their way over, for someone to, reassure you from the other side of the ravine, because you hear a few whispers, like distant voices, I guess, but, you don't know what they're saying. What do you do when you're on the other side?
Aside from tying the rope and whispering or rather murmuring various TV shows, that are totally not anime opening songs, under his breath, he's just sort of waiting.
Okay. So, you're sitting...
Maybe he approaches the ravine and just sort of looks out towards the other side to see what the others are doing.
All right. Does your mask have a technological display of
Of course.
Okay. Does it display like the local geography in that top left corner of the map?
More like overlays a solar image when he turns the option on, which in this darkness is definitely something he's going to click on.
Okay, so it's like a mesh that appears kind of over everything, so you can see the exact what's going up and or what are the... It's like those square mesh things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. You see that there's a sudden plunge into the ravine, and you look over and there's an error warning. It goes deeper than what you can record.
Magic.
So
he says under his breath.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So it's as you look over, it's the square, or the altitude, it dips, and it's it goes in that exponential curve. It's 320, 319, 322, 50, and it goes much, much lower, a sudden curve drop off, an exponential drop off.
Yep.
To the point where you're getting an error. This suit does not have errors.
I mean, it's not supposed to have errors, it is.
Yeah, it's not supposed to, but right now it's reading an error, and you see that it's reached the maximum depth limit that is feasibly possible.
It's like if he were to turn this on and stare into space.
Yeah, so it's minus 99999, and then it cuts off because it can't record a number lower than minus 99999.
I think at that point, he would just wait for a moment, for another moment, swing his foot in the air, anxiously waiting, and eventually he starts raising his voice. So, you all coming over?
You all coming over? You all coming over? You all coming over? It echoes. And it echoes into the cavern. And you all feel this rumbling as you heard Ren ask if you were all coming over, kind of faintly as an echo. As there's this rumbling, kind of a growling stomach that rises from the bottom of the ravine. It's like a growling stomach, but it's not. It's like a rumbling. More so. What were you gonna say, Madeline?
Haven? Question mark.
Haven? Caven. Oh, you hear the rumbling of rocks, but it sounds more like it's just the pebbles around you that are rumbling going into the ravine. And that's what's making the actual rock noise. This is a hollow rumbling emanating from the very depths.
I think we should get moving.
Ren?
Run, run, run. The rumbling gets louder.
Get up here!
Did you shout that?
Not. Oh, I think he was like start to shout and then put his hand over his mouth because he doesn't want to make it worse.
But what did you say initially?
Up.
Start? Vroom, vroom.
Get up here. Yeah.
That begins to echo off as well, and it seems the more it's becoming more and more susceptible to sound as the cavern itself also begins to rumble. And like there's a few stalactites that drop from the ceiling and crash near you, crash near some other place. There's a huge stalactite that crashes and tumbles, and a few others follow suit, and it completely blocks off the entrance.
Malon just puts his hand over his mouth. He gestures for everyone to do the same.
Harold's going to grab and yank Minnie back from the edge.
Alright, so you managed to... Give me a defend roll. Oh, juicy, right? Yeah.
I just dropped my savior, but I have influence. Good old influence. My boy rocks his rolls every time.
Wow, that was a solid roll. Wow, holy cow.
Yeah.
Alright. On a hit, you keep him safe and choose one. Pick one, Harold.
Let's give the team yeah.
Alright.
Let's add a team.
Okay, so you managed to pull Minnie back from the ledge just as a stalactite hits where she was and crashes deep and tumbles into the ravine, also getting sucked up by the darkness. As you make your way through, across the... I'm gonna hurry it up a bit. As you make your way through and cross the kind of stalag wall light, the horizontal light, bridge across with the ropes, that surely did help a lot, because like at some point you have to like lean back against the ropes to make sure that you don't like tumble or fall or slip. And eventually you make it over to the other side where Ren is, as the rumbles keep getting louder and louder. And as the last person crosses the bridge, another stalactite falls, and the actual bridge itself begins to crumble and crack and creak, and then it just falls into the abyss as well.
So I've got good news and bad news. And I want to say that when Ren is speaking, there's this strange effect that his voice just does not echo at all. It's like he speaks, but the sound is immediately diminished as soon as like it travels a little bit from his mouth.
Okay,
Just
so
dampened.
you've got like a compression filter on.
No. It's this is actually just his normal powers.
Oh, whoops.
Vibration control, right?
Hey.
Nice.
So he's like, so I've got good news and bad news, or maybe mixed news. Aside from the fact that the thing is starting to fall, we probably don't want to fall because either this ravine goes to the very center of the planet, or there's some magic space folding shenanigans.
This is assuming that we're still on Earth. He whispers this really quietly.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Magic space shenanigans for sure.
That's going to be a problem.
I don't know what to do right now. Yeah.
Don't panic. That's the first thing you should do.
No, I'm fine. It's just.
Minnie, you okay?
Me? I'm fine. Gonna be better. Here in the thick of it, like always. Lack of information, lack of preparation, good old league of
How's our brave knight doing?
He seems to have made it across just fine, and right now he's pulled out the sword again because he had it sheathed, and it begins like emanating some of the light. Albeit the light itself is diminished a lot more than it was before, and now instead of like a nice bright like magic sword, it's more so of like a slightly luminous.
Reading by sword, candlelight.
Yeah. Okay. So he looks around and then spots another entrance to get you all through. It seems that it had been partially blocked off by a falling stalactite. Do you press onward with them, or do you go back to the ravine?
I think we should go on. Stay away from the bad ravine.
Yeah.
What about the rest of you, along with the things that you've seen?
Probably not going to throw myself in the infinite space ravine, so
That is
let's
the
keep
point.
I have a question.
Yeah?
What if the ravine was the portal to Avalon?
Do you want to test it?
No. No, but I was thinking the ravine is like this weird darkness space thing. What if whoever goes down it actually ends up in Avalon? Because we're trying to look for the doorway to Avalon, right?
Are you saying this in character?
No, I'm saying this out of character.
Oh, say it in character. It's a good debate.
Yeah.
Oh, and Red Streak says that in character then.
You want to jump down it?
No.
Lamorak?
Crazy enough to go down there.
Well, considering all of the things that had happened earlier, what with the shadows taking over the trees and foliage, like he's got like a half-cocked smile, and it's like yeah, y'all gotta be out of your damn mind to think that this is a good idea, but it's not half bad. It's an idea that could work. Or I'll say it's an idea that could work.
Uh-huh.
Man voice for her.
Just, you sure you know what you're doing here, right?
What did the both of you see?
I told you, he brings up the illusion again.
Yeah.
This.
Ooh.
Right, my bad. That's me being dumb. Jim being dumb.
Run with it.
And how did you find it?
It found something dragged me to it. I didn't go looking, I was pulled along.
And how about you, Minnie? Or Hellion, sorry.
What is he asking her?
What did Minnie see?
What do I see? I see lots of things. I see into the future all the time now because that's never mind why. But sometimes they're bad and sometimes they're good. But
Okay.
I saw all 6 of us doing magical things, and it looked like what we were trying to find. But I don't really know because visions are like that. They like to be real, indistinct. And there's, I think, someone behind this vision or something. And I know how that goes because I have 2 demons and I deal with them all the time, and it's really fucked up. But yeah, it's pretty confusing. And we spent a whole lot of the time in this cave and got nothing done. So I think Red Streak's idea is actually really good. So I'm gonna try it, okay?
I'm so sorry.
Minnie, no, wait.
Are you jumping off?
It's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It all works out.
Minnie. Okay. Yes, my idea. Apparently, my idea was good, and from
She's
what
already at the edge.
Minnie, stop! What are you doing?
Lamrack is ready next to her, and he's got like the rope still, just in case.
Dude!
Red Streak's gonna go over to Minnie and be like, okay, look, okay, apparently my idea is great, okay. But from what you and Harold say, yes, it seems like the darkness wants to pull us into wherever the hell it is, show us something, the door to Avalon, I don't know, something. But, and maybe we're better off jumping down there and see what's there, but then again, we don't fully know, because it could be a death trap and we could all die. So are you sure it's really a good idea to just jump into a ravine that could lead to your death?
Is it a good idea? No, but we're superheroes, and we could all die possibly at any moment. And this is what we do. I think your idea is really good, Amber. So I'm gonna try it. Don't you worry.
No,
It doesn't matter how dark it is down there. I'm darker than anything.
Minnie?
And she opens her book, and she jumps off of the edge.
Oh my fucking god.
She tries to put herself in her book. I don't know if the magic is going to work. What do you say?
God damn it! Can Harold jump off after her and try to fly? He thinks he can fly.
Oh, fuck everyone! Jumping to the ravine now!
Well, time to jump after both of them. It's not like Ren hasn't seen the book trick before.
Oh,
I can fly, damn it!
Oh my god, this is if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you?
Yes.
What about you, Madeline? Do you jump?
Madeline just Chet of his Mana Stone batteries and hope that the love of Dodd he's got enough for one teleport.
I mean, hey, you teleported that stone perfectly fine. Nothing could go wrong when you're trying to teleport your whole self.
You know those little stones on his outfit?
Yes, I know. The batteries.
Yeah, okay. You just quick Chet and for the love of Dodd, please let me be able to stop them from killing themselves, and they'll jump off and start preparing for a teleport.
Okay, so it's Minnie who jumped off and jumped into a book, followed by Harold.
Minnie.
Followed by Ren, followed by Madeline.
It goes Red Streak, and then I'll say at that point Lamb jumped in.
God
then
damn it.
Ren, then Madeline.
Is Red Streak
Red
jumping
Streak
in?
jump in.
Look, Harold only did this to catch Minnie because she jumped off.
Yeah, and Ren jumped after to catch both of them.
Yeah, no, Madeline jumped off to touch both of them.
Catch all of them.
Okay,
Well,
so
let's back up for a second and resolve one.
Yeah, I
action
wanted
at
to.
a time.
Yeah, I wrote it
Yeah.
in order so that I could resolve everything in order.
Okay.
I know the order. Basically, Minnie decided it was a great
Well,
idea.
I have the order. I have the order of everybody went. Now I'm just gonna resolve it and how everybody, what happened when everybody
Nice.
jumped.
Because Red Streak hadn't jumped yet, so she and Lamorak are probably still at the top, just like, what the fuck are these kids doing?
Okay. So Minnie, as you know, you fall in here, like, as like the wind itself, because you're going pretty fast, and like you open up the book and the pages are like flipping wildly, and you manage to hold one tight open, and you try and go in. Do you go in head first or like foot first or how?
Face first.
Oh wow.
You push your face against the book, nothing happens.
Fuck.
And then in a flash, your eyes have adjusted at this point, and like the light is also following Harold down, all the torches and stuff. So it's like you see very faint, like iridescent rainbows being cast all over the wall, and then it just goes pitch black. Harold, as you like dive in to go after Minnie, your arms reach out. You're like going further in to try and grab, and you're trying to go as fast as you can. The torch is like falling next to you, and it follows. How does gravity work?
down generally.
Look, a bit of direction.
No, but
large
with the big, heavier. No, because that takes up more surface area versus the pointed pinprick of a torch. But the torch is lighter.
Generally, mass wins.
Mass. Okay, so yeah, the torch. As you thank you. I'm sorry. I'm so stupid.
Physics.
I don't know how physics work. God, I should be in science. Okay. As you're plummeting, that you begin to go faster and further than the torch, and the light becomes kind of casts behind you. As Minnie's, as you see Minnie's hair flying around, she disappears into the black, and soon enough you you're confused for a moment, and then you look back, and you see the torch, and then snuffed out, it's black. Red Streak, at this point, you and Lamb had jumped off to go after them.
Did they?
It was Mana Line to jump off next.
Oh.
So I didn't jump off. Ren went after Harold and Minnie, and then Manline decided, well, YOLO, and he decided to if he could teleport.
I'm hoping I can teleport. That's why I got the damn batteries for these situations.
Okay,
Probably won't work, but there you go.
Ren, you dive down, and
Mana Line.
Oh, so wait, no.
Basically, both of us at the same time. Basically.
Hell, I hate gravity.
You're fine. You're fine, Anne.
Yeah, I just threw paper and it didn't
Minnie?
fly up and fly down because I don't know how gravity works.
Minnie,
It's okay, I have thrusters.
Where'd my move work? Okay, so you thrust yourself further and further down, kind of leaving Manaline behind with your torch, and you see the meter. It's still at minus 9999, and then eventually you dive into the black, and it's instead of you're used to the gliding and flying, but this time it's more like you've been submerged. As it just cuts to black. Manaline, you get your stones ready and you're about to teleport when you see that the rest of them have disappeared completely, as though they had teleported as well. And then, you're like, oh shit. And you grab them, and you begin to try channeling your teleport. You fits out for a second, and then you teleport maybe 3 feet, maybe a meter higher than where you were before, and you keep plummeting down. And then you hit pitch black. At this point, Lamb has also jumped off with Minnie.
Let's jump off.
Lamarak.
Lamrack and Red Streak, what did I say?
Amy.
What?
Okay. Okay. So. Holy shit. The two of you jump off, and as you reach down to try and grab, for a split second, your hand disappears into the blackness, followed by your full arm. It's almost like it slows down in that split second of fight or flight, and adrenaline, and you see it's just, and then you just get submerged into the black along with Lamarak. All of you wake up in. You all have torches next to you alone. We'll start from the top with Harold. Your torch.
Can I stop you for a second?
Oh, yeah.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
What does Red Streak do when everyone disappears into the dark? Because Red Streak still has not said that she's jumping into the ravine.
Oh, I heard that you jumped. Okay, thank you for that.
We kept saying she didn't jump.
You're cutting out a lot for me, I'm sorry.
So basically, I said that Red Streak hadn't jumped. She stayed at the top with Lamarak, and then you said Lamarak jumped into the ravine.
Yes.
Alright, so everything narrated as it was. Everyone has jumped into the ravine but Amber.
But Amber,
What do you
okay.
want Amber to do?
Yeah, everyone has practically jumped into the ravine, and Red Streak's just fuck.
I just wanted to say on record, I was trying to save them from the ravine. I didn't think it would work, but that's what Manaline would do.
You were all trying.
Everyone's just jumping to their deaths, even Lamarak, and then Red Streak's the only survivor, and everyone's like, where's Lamarak and all that, and she's like, they all died.
So what do you do in this instant?
Well, it's either jump into the ravine like everyone else, or just do what they were going to originally do and walk through the small entrance behind her.
All right. So-
which one is it?
I think since everyone's jumped into the ravine, Amber's probably gonna, even though she's worried about her friends, I think she's a bit too, like, she's basically a pussy and is not gonna jump into the ravine. So she's gonna be like, I wonder where this entrance goes. Maybe it'll lead to the bottom of the ravine, so maybe she'll take that route.
All right.
Smart. While everybody else is just fucking jumping in. No, I'm gonna do the smart route.
Okay. So, okay, good. Okay, resolved. Okay, so yeah, let's go from the top then. Harold, as you feel now on a physical set, you feel the same feeling that you felt when you got astrally projected, basically. But this time it's more in the physical sense that it feels like you're like going down on some kind of like, I'm not gonna say honey slide, more of like it feels like air, but it's a lot thicker, a lot more cushiony, I guess. And like you're going down, but then eventually you feel yourself kind of arcing until you're eventually going sideways and you get thrust into a cave. And the torch itself sputters out and flies across, like bouncing past you before it like lands with like a and you see before you illuminated this large cave. It was bigger than before, and it's like maybe 30 meters radius, like 50-meter height, but it's a lot more crowded, where you see, now that the light has reflected, all of these translucent crystals.
Whoa. Also, what about Minnie? Because she was ahead of me.
I'm just going from the top of the player list in the
Okay.
Discord call.
Alright, cool.
Just so I don't get confused again.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay then. But yeah, before, alright, like, you know, so it's more essentially like, fuck, why won't you work, damn it? Just trying to draw on the power of the eye and complete silence when he sees all the glowy rocks and realizes he's not dead.
Yep.
Are we still falling, or is it more like...
No, you've landed and you're standing up and you're alone in this large chamber. And everywhere you look, you see a reflection of yourself. Slightly warped in different crystals. Like, one of them makes it look like you're younger, and another one, it like the way that the fractures are placed inside, it looks older.
Yeah. Don't like this. What's
They're my gemstones now. Okay.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't like being on the other end of making copies of himself, you know. But
It's a reflection.
yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
it's the feeling in general. It's
think.
not something nice. Minnie? Ren?
Ren. It echoes.
He's gonna try and just access the eye first.
There's a buzz of magical energy that begins to fill the room from the eye itself. It's otherwise it's completely silent. And as you continue walking forward, you see this one kind of crystal jutting out, perfectly straight. And in that reflection, you see yourself, but it's different. It's you, It's everything that you have. Like, you're just wearing your regular clothes. Your hair is like a little bit tussed from sleep or something. And most noticeably, you see that you have both eyes. And it's looking back at you. And...
God damn.
what do? It's compelling you forward.
Yeah, no careful steps forward, just curious. Glance at looking at this. What is going on? Okay, are you there? Really not the time to go silent.
Silent.
Damn it. Okay.
The silence is broken. And you hear... it sounds familiar. Is this who you want to be? And the illusion of you comes more into focus.
Both eyes?
Yes.
You know, he reaches up and just sort of touches just the edge of the bronze eye of Horus on his face.
Do
You know,
you
fingers
believe
traced
that
a
this
very...
is what you want to be? Who you
and
are
then his
now?
fingers traced a very light scar underneath. Who I am is... what I am now is who I am. If, you know... God, this is... He looks around. Who's there?
There's nobody. I need you to roll a rejection of influence.
I am who I am. Sure. Reject influence. Flat 2d6.
Do you have insecure?
Nope.
Okay, alright, that's it. I threw my papers on the ground, 1 second. Because I don't know how gravity works. So, when you... oh god, where's... reject someone's... on a 7 to 9, choose one. As you tune them out.
Whew. Well, I don't have influence. Can I cancel my own influence over myself?
It's not yourself. It's another voice. You don't know if it's the eye, if it's something more. You don't know.
Yeah, no. Let's take that 1+1 forward because... yeah, and he looks at the reflection of himself like, for the longest time I wanted that, but if I was that, I wouldn't be who I am right now and wouldn't have everything I have right now, so I'll keep the eye.
Alright. Oh. You know what? This is gonna be a whisper.
Oh.
I'm messaging you who it is that you canceled.
Uh-oh. I'll keep the eye.
Don't tell anyone. Alright.
Ooh.
You brush past it, move forward. Who you are right now, that is you. No more, no less. You are you. As you brush past the illusions, brush past the reflections. Do you turn back to the room as you find the exit?
I mean, yeah, it's gonna look back.
You look back and you see the faintest black creeping up that center crystal. Okay. Manoline.
Yep.
What was it? Oh god, what was the vision? I had it. Oh my god, how
You
can I
need a
forget?
moment. You need a moment.
Minnie, what was the vision of Manoline?
Stalactites.
Stalactites and stalagmites, right?
Yeah, something
Connected
like that.
together, yes. Kind of like bars emerging from the ground. Okay. So, when... Yeah, it was. Wait, was it? Oh god. Okay, no, it was. Okay, yeah, it was. My bad. Okay. So... You, Manoline, you tumble out, and instead of being, dead, you're in this hall of sorts that opens out into a kind of square-ish room. You see a hole in the other side of the wall that it looks pretty natural, for the most part. But you see a kind of, like, bars of stalactites and stalagmites connected together. And as you begin to walk through, you see the connected pillars themselves begin to look like they have more and more defined shapes. And soon enough, it looks like one of those columns looks like your father. That one over there looks like your mom. And that one looks like your cousin. It's got the faintest trace of blue, of like a cobalt blue, tracing up that one. Before eventually you continue to walk past and more of these people who look like your family members. And eventually you see the one final pillar right before the entrance, and it looks kind of like you, but it looks different. It looks more regal per se. And it looks like it's got lifelines going through it. Another set of cobalt blue. And you hear a similar voice ricocheting in your head. Do you want to be the next one in their cycle? Or do you choose to follow your own path?
Choose. Don't you think I've already done it?
But what about the rejection? What about winning back all those who have loved you, all those you love?
I've got a job to do. I intend to do it how I see fit. This is really paining him, yeah.
Roll to reject. Whew. Okay, which one do you pick?
Reject someone's influence. I'm going to tax on their influence.
Alright. Okay, let me get that down then. Okay, you push your way past the pillar, and as soon as you touch it, it crumbles into dust, and just on an unlike an intangible breeze, it fades away into nothing as you make your way through. Minnie, as you're trying further and further to get into the book, eventually the book spills out of your hands and lands in front of you as you find yourself sitting down on the ground, and in front of you is a large pool of nearly reflective still water, and there's these little white lights inside of them that are blinking. Some of them are getting snuffed out, some of them are going. What do? You see a hole at the bottom of that pool.
Before I say what Minnie does, just because Dennet said he has a hard cutoff time, do you want to jump to him so you can at least get...
Don't worry about the hard cutoff time. I just got the message that my plans have been cancelled, so no more hard cutoff.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear about that.
Happens.
But I'm glad you're here with us.
Yeah. More random.
Never.
Okay. So Minnie sees a pool with glowing lights, and there's a hole in the bottom of it. I think she's uninterested in the hole, and she looks around the room that she's in to try and get her bearings. She looks up to see if any one of her teammates have landed down here with her. She's trying to figure out.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you begin to look around. It seems as though the lights it's almost like a star field, but it's like little, the closer you look, it's little bioluminescent fish blinking in and out of existence, as they swim around. And there's little lights casting against the wall, almost reflecting from the pool. It's almost ethereal, as the ceiling of this very small kind of alcove itself is domed, like a natural kind of dome. And it almost looks like you're looking up at the galaxy. And then the fish just keep floating around, swimming, popping in and out. And it's utterly silent. The pool itself, despite the motion of the fish, flat water. What do you do?
Well, with no friends in this room and no visible exits, the only thing of interest being the pool, I think the first thing Minnie tries to do is to drink from the pool.
You go dip your hands in the water, and as you look over, you see yourself, and you dip your hands, and they meet at the water, and you feel almost like your fingers interlock with the reflection in the pool. You feel the water, but it doesn't feel like water. It feels more viscous. What do you do as your hands interlock with the reflection?
Does her reflection respond? Does it do anything of its own volition, or it's just mirror?
It's just following you. And
I think... Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Because as they interlock and you sit there for another moment, you take notice that this reflection of your features, it's like you look more focused. Like even the expression itself, it's more serene and more kind of at peace. And like in her eye, in this reflection's eyes, you see that it doesn't feel like there's a burden. And your hands themselves, your hands are shackled, right? Or they have something on them?
She has wristbands that trap Alistar.
Yeah, the wristbands. The wristbands and the reflection are gone.
You said this is her future self?
The future self was you at this very moment, gazing into the pool.
No, but I mean the reflection that she sees. Did I misunderstand that? That she's looking at her future self in the pool?
It doesn't look more like a future self. It looks more like a what could have been if you had been rid of Alistor and the demons. If you didn't have to suffer anymore.
So I think she looks at that version of herself and, she thinks about it for a second. And I don't know what the magic of this place is supposed to be, but knowing what else she knows about how she got Alistar, she knows that this is a lie. This would not have been even without Alistar. So she puts her other hand into the pool and locks fingers with the other hand and tries to pull that version of herself out of the pool.
Okay. So you reach in. For a moment, the serene face closes her eyes, opens them back up, and for a moment right before you yank it out of the pool, the eyes themselves are cast over with a different shade. There's a soft smile before suddenly being jut out of the water and the expression turns to shock for a moment as the face itself is pulled out and it releases from the water in a bunch of sparkles as you pull the entire reflected you out of the water of what could have been. Sparkles begin to dust all over your hands. They fly up and begin to settle like falling starlight. And as you look back into the reflection, it's just you. Just who you are. Roll to reject. It's you. You have demons inside of you. If only there had been another way that didn't involve sacrifice, that didn't involve pain. I want you to mark a condition.
Just gonna mark anger.
And mundane down, danger up.
Okay, done.
All right. And now the fish turn. They spin, kind of leaving a faint trace, like one of those long exposure shots, as they begin to revolve around and around and around the hole, and now the water is rippling very slightly. What do you do?
I think Minnie reaches for her book one more time and tries it again to see if it...
When you open it up to the page that you try to go in, the page itself sparkles, but you can't go through. It seems as though the magic here had been cutting off all other forms. Most other forms.
All right. With a complete lack of options left, she'll jump into the pool.
I'm sorry. Okay. Further down the list. Red Streak. You saw all of your friends jump down, and you decide that you can't follow them down. It's you can't. It's just not possible.
Nope.
So you continue forward into the next kind of path. It follows the natural form of the chamber for maybe 1.5 meters before eventually it emerges into a large, not per se a large cavern, maybe 5 by 5 meters. And you see a descending staircase in the middle. One large stalagmite coming up from the floor with juts of rock sticking out.
So there's a staircase in the middle of this room then?
It appears, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go down it then.
Alright. You take your first step, and then your second, and then your third, before there's a ledge that's larger than the step, and you see a little kind of carved out part of the pillar on the side. And in that pillar you see a stone. It looks like it was carved or made from clay or sculpted. And it's a stone of a woman and a man.
Okay.
You descend another 3 steps. You see the same woman and the same man, but this time the woman appears to be pregnant.
Oh, God.
Then another 3 steps, you see a child.
Oh, God.
With the father. And the mother. Another 3 steps, you see a little girl. With the same father and mother. Another. Maybe preteens. And another. You see now that the statues themselves have been becoming more and more intricate in detail. And soon enough you recognize your father and you recognize yourself. And possibly the woman who was your mother.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
This alcove has... It's just carved out, and the 3 of them are sitting serene, happy. And another rumbling happens again. Not enough to shake the ground and tumble and make you tumble, but it's enough for this deep feeling kind of vibrating through your entire body, and you feel something in like the back of your head, akin to a voice and a feeling.
Okay.
All right. And yes, thank you, Halo, for indicating that. When you find yourself in a situation or roll plus danger. So, are you going to do that, or should?
Are you good? Do I need to roll plus danger?
Yes.
Okay, let me roll plus danger. Get it there. Wrong. Danger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. -1. Right. Click it. Do I put in a bonus or penalty, or do I just leave it at 0?
Leave it at 0.
Okay, just check. Let's see what
Not bad.
Woo! Alright.
The tension rises up within you. And, like, memories begin coming back at you, and it's terrifying, and, well, mark a condition.
You want me to mark a condition? Oh boy. Let's see. I don't know what conditions I have already. I'm gonna... I can't see what conditions I have. Damn it.
You have insecure.
Sorry.
See you lighting up, Kimmy, but I don't hear you.
Hello?
Can anyone
There
hear
we go.
me?
Yep, I can hear you, both of you.
Sorry, everyone, it just went silent and everything cut out for a moment. Sorry, could you repeat? Okay, and everyone...
You're cutting
You're
out
cutting
a lot as
out
well.
a lot.
Oh, fuck. Can anyone hear me now?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what conditions do I have then? Sorry.
You have insecure marked. All of your others are.
Okay, so I'll do afraid then. Could someone do that for me? Because now everything's just glitching. Nobody can hear me.
I got it. No worries. I marked afraid for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know why
Mm-hmm.
it glitched all of a sudden and everyone went quiet.
It was so scary that your computer didn't take it.
Well, I'm using an iPad computer.
Or iPad then.
Okay,
Okay.
so, you feel the terror, the memories, everything that happened rise up, and this is something that you could have had. You feel the rumbling, like, in your heart. You don't know if, like, you're, like, your body's racked trying not to sob, or if it's the rumbling from the cave, but, like, you feel that this is what could have been. Wasn't this what you wanted? This was always something that, like, just a family. Is it what you want?
Is that are you like asking me in character there?
What does Red Streak want? Does she want to continue on with the big team, or does she want a real family?
Well, I mean, of course Red Streak would want that. I mean, that's what she always wanted. But at the same time, she has this little gut feeling that there could possibly be no way that this is even possible. I mean, like, it feels like what what Minnie did. It feels a little bit like a lie, or like a false reality. And even though she desperately wants it, at the same time, she can't trust it and wants to continue with the big team, because they're like her family now, and she's made friends that care about her and look out for her, and she's had many different experiences that she wouldn't have had if she hadn't joined the big team in the first place.
Okay.
So even though she does want it, she also kind of doesn't, and does want to be with the big team, essentially.
All right. Roll me a reject influence then.
I'll let Halo do that because glitching.
I
Halo's
got you.
my A.
Nice.
You got a 7.
Okay, so on a 7 to 9, choose one. Has anybody gotten above a 10 plus?
No.
No.
Okay.
I came close, but I was one off.
Alright, okay. Because I personally thought I fucked up somewhere. I mean, I definitely did. But, okay, so choose one. You can either clear a condition or mark a potential by immediately taking action to prove them wrong. You can shift one label up or down. Or up. Yeah, one label up and one label down. Or you can cancel their influence and take +1 forward against them.
I think I'm going to reject their influence.
So,
That's what.
cancel their influence, you mean?
Yeah, because that's what they're trying to do. They're like, this is what you should have had. This is what you should have been. Take it.
Well,
this is a lie.
You don't know if that's something outside or if it's something you really wanted. But okay. What is that? What? Okay, my bad. I was just writing something. That is not... Whatever. I know what I mean. Okay, so I'll message Halo then to add that to your influence.
Okay.
Or cancel influence.
Okay.
Alright, and last but not least, I'm so sorry, Ren. You dive
I'm here.
down, and again, as you hit the black, it just stopped. All of your momentum basically got cancelled without any of the physical repercussions. And it's almost like you landed in, like, honey, or, like, gelatin. But you can still kind of go through and drift through it, and you still hear the wind whistling. It's kind of like disorienting, but eventually you land out. I'll say that with your training, you were able to do a nice 3-point landing. Into, well, not really into anywhere. It's more like it looks more like an antechamber of sorts, and you see this large archway. Beyond it, it's dim and it's dark. And as you step forward, you're standing over a ledge. It's got a very, it's completely just flat. There's no railing or anything, and you can see the ground before you, and you can't quite make out the texture. Is it rock? Is it sand? Is it grass? Is it wood? You can't quite tell. But
What does the sonar say?
it doesn't. It's wonky. It's weird. It's going strange. Like, again, it's reading more and more errors that you've never had to deal with on this level.
With a deep sigh, he presses a button on the side of his visor, and the glass overlay retracts.
Alright. The overlay retracts, and with the torch you can still see pretty clearly in front of you. And as the sounds kind of echo throughout the chamber of the glass retracting and the torch burning, it almost gives a sense that, like, on like one echo you can hear almost the sound of like children's laughter, and another echo there's the sound of very, very muffled, indiscernible conversation, almost. And through another echo, you hear normal. Plain and normal, kind of fading through. Is this not what you want? Is this not what you desire?
He's looking around. Someone's there?
Someone's there? Someone's there? Someone's there? The echo diffuses. And then it comes back again. It bounces back and back and back. And each time it sounds more and more like something else. You hear another set of children laughing. You hear it sounds like an impact and like almost like an ouch, and then it's like, are you okay? Two different voices. And then the same voice again, this time echoing from on top and behind you. Don't you just want your life to be normal?
She just keeps kind of looking around and being like, Harold? Vinny?
Their voices echo again. They diffuse further and further again. Until you hear another set of voices, now more and more recognizable. One of them is your own, and you hear, do you want to be friends? Sure. And there's steps walking away and laughter. And again, the same voice coming from further and further down, echoing back through the chamber, almost as though they came from another source. All of your life, didn't you just want to be like the others? To not have to miss anything? To experience a normal life? Is that not what you wanted?
He frowns, like visibly upset by the words and by everything he's hearing. Sighs deeply, raises one of his hands and snaps his fingers. He's using his powers to dampen the noise around, just so there's only the noise his voice coming from far away, amplifying just that. Nothing else but that. He turns towards where he thinks it's coming from, at least after the amplification, and slowly starts walking forward.
Well, you heard an echo from behind you, and then you heard another voice, like the source of another voice, further down onto the ground in front of you from the ledge.
Is there any way to go down the ledge?
You can fly.
Oh, then that's what he's going to do, but he's going to do it slow, and he's actually speaking towards the voice. Like, if the sound is coming from the voice, then he's sending out his own sound towards the same direction. And he goes like, I don't know who you are, and I don't know what kind of magical trick you're trying to play over here, but I think you got me all the way backwards. I mean, all of this as he's slowly trying to, he tries to keep his voice going while he's following the direction where it's coming from. It's all kind of upsetting when you put it like that, but no, not at all, actually. If you really want to hear the entire thing, then ever since I saw how life is for a hero and how much good they can do, I would never think twice about not being normal, because like that I can make a difference. With the group, with my friends, with the team, this is the life I've always dreamed of, even it's sometimes hard to keep up. But that's what I always wanted. So, I'm not sure what kind of magic is going on here, but you might need to try a different angle. Also, please reveal yourself already, because this is getting a little tedious.
Roll to reject. Influence.
I know, but I wanted to ask. Since I'm calling upon his time in the research group, can I use my soldier move that allows me to give influence to my organization, but use soldier label as a replacement for any basic or playbook move?
Well, does that work for reject influence? Because influence is just a straight roll. It's not. It doesn't use a stat to replace.
Fair enough.
I don't think Terror is a basic move either.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I don't want to. Oh.
Of course. I don't trust myself with 2d6s.
Well, not quite so great potential.
Hey, that's some potential. Oof, that's spicy. All right, so it echoes back, and this time silence. There's no. As you move towards where you know the source of the voice originated, you instead come up and nearly trip over this over something. It's kind of like a little elevated thing. And like you you look back and you see that it's flat and white, and as you step with your boot, you see that you've got dirt on your boot, and there's some grass on it, but the white stone does not get stained. The dirt simply falls off. And as you look back up, you're standing under something. Utterly alone for a moment. Completely alone. Your organization isn't there. Big team isn't there. Your friends aren't there. Market condition.
Insecure.
Okay. And as you all make your way through the entrances, you all step into a familiar, or similar, situation where there's grass and it's lush. Those of you who still have your torches, you see that it's like rich, this is like good, high quality grass that's like rich and nourished, and the dirt is almost black, or the soil, is almost black. And you begin to recognize Minnie. You recognize that as you step further out, you see that there's the arch, almost a diamond shape with a kind of a flat top slightly. And this is the arch. As soon as the rest of you begin to step in further, you see the torches. There's little lights, and there's one light in the arch. Similar. There's another light, and another light, and another. And as all of the torches enter in, including another torch that is recognized to be Lamorak's, the flames jump out and they fly and arc towards the ceiling. The ceiling has to be maybe 100 meters tall, and they hit this large crystal that projects what's almost daylight into this humongous cavern. And you see on the other edge, at the very top, with like a stone kind of zigzag shape. It looks like an exit on the other side of the arch. And the arch itself is magnificent. You see intricate carvings, hundreds of people, monsters, everything that you could likely recognize from the mythos, from the Arthurian legends. And you hear Lam say, "Oh my god, we found it." What do the rest of you do?
Brave.
You're all okay.
Registry, you doing fine?
Oh, are we all together now?
Yeah, you're all together converging in the same room as you look around and you see each other. You see Ren, like, actually standing in the archway. Ren, you see all of your teammates coming from previously unforeseen, or unseen, kind of exits into the cavern. Along with the huge, exit on the other side of the archway behind you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was a little out of it. I'm getting tired.
Okay, so... Oh, go ahead, Dennet.
I was going to say that Ren is just turning back to everyone since he's the closest to the arch, like he's standing inside of it. So he just turns back to everyone and smiles wide, but it's very clear that it's a forced smile. He's like, "Well, I guess we found the portal, all right. That was a trip."
Yeah, and before anything, quick hug for Minnie, and then just a shoulder punch for Ren. I'm just glad none of us are pancakes.
But what about Lamorak? Where is he?
He's, like, near you.
Right, yeah.
He came from his own, entrance in the cave.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if he was with us or not. I'm very out of it.
I wonder if it even mattered if we jumped down or not. I think there was only one path.
No, look, I'm just... We're all together. That's good.
That's sad. And he cautiously raises his hand, plucks his headgear, and the visor comes on again, and he's trying to see the depth of the area they're in. Like the walls, the portal.
You're maybe 20 feet below sea level?
I think it measures the distance from the viewer rather than the sea level.
Oh wait, what are you trying to measure?
The headpiece measures the distance from the point of view rather than the absolute sea level. That's Madeline's thing.
Oh, sorry. So wait, what exactly are you trying to measure? I don't...
He's looking at the walls, at the portal, and the inside of the portal to the other side. Like, what are the distance measurements for him?
Are
we still in the infinite void of fuck nowhere?
You are not. You are getting exact reads, exact measurements. Everything is, as they say, hunky-dory.
Even the other side of the portal?
Yep. It's just a frame right now.
Okay. So, what now?
Is this the portal to Avalon, or like? Is there a shortcut, or we can open up, or what? Should Madeline do assess the situation, or...?
You don't need to do assess the situation. It's pretty clear that this large white arch in the middle is the portal that Ren is standing under.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the knight said they want a shortcut to the portal. Rather than go through the entire cave all over again.
Yeah, you see now that there's a large exit on the other side. You saw that there was an exit on the other side.
I hope that isn't a one-way exit.
You don't know.
Okay, I have questions. So, I'm gonna hang on. I kind of forgot. Shit.
Well, as you're trying to remember, what does everyone else do as Limerick is like approaching the archway and like kind of like touching some of the carvings?
I think Minnie will try her book again since it hasn't been working.
As you open the book, the sparkly pages are now gone. And again, you go in face first.
No, she's just trying to put her hand.
Your hand, there is actually, it goes through, and it goes through a lot smoother than what you're used to. It seems that the magic has now been amplified again, and whatever it was has been dispelled. That was blocking it from the cavern.
How is mana levels in here?
They're normal. They're slightly elevated.
Fair enough.
So,
Oh, sorry.
no, go.
Okay, I remember what I said. I was about to ask, why did we all go through... Okay, we all went through the ravine, except for Red Streak. She went down the stairs. But they all went through the exact same thing, which was basically like some sort of test to say, oh, is this what you really want? Is this what you want? Are you going to do this or that? Why did that even happen in the first place? Why do we need to do that in order to get to the portal in the first place?
In character?
I mean, I guess.
You know what? Let me see here.
The GM says so.
Because Fey magic is weird.
Give me and unleash your powers.
Hello, slave.
Do it, Halo.
My
Walk
slave.
that roll.
I hear you. Give me a second. Looking at your moves, making sure that there's no other modifiers here.
Also, whose influence did Red Streak resist? Yeah, who did not?
Yes, there are. You get a +1 because you're insecure. Are we considered vulnerable or cornered?
No, you are out of the woods.
All right,
Where's my
so
mouse?
then I'm
There
gonna
it
roll
is.
with a.
Oh goodness. Nice. Do you want to make it unstable or temporary, or do you mark a condition?
Let's make it temporary, at least.
Alright.
I don't want to mark a condition.
Okay, so, you kind of tune into the magic again. It's very faint. Actually, no, it's not very faint. It's the same way that you felt in the entrance of the cave at the beginning of the forest. And in that moment, you feel something like it's like it sends chills down your spine, and like as you look up, you see, in that like in the crystal that took in the light, the firelight, you see it's kind of like storming, with some kind of black material that looks silky, but it looks like a gas. And eventually it expels the black gas as it dissipates. And it you still have the chills down your spine, but you see that it dissipates, and you think that might be the connection. That's all of the connection.
So I just saw some weird black gas stuff.
Yeah. But as far as you know, from what you can see and sense, it just got expelled, and that's it. It dissipated into nothing.
So was that like a creature or some kind of weird spirit thing? Was that the one that caused all of this?
In character?
Yes.
Okay. So you say that out loud.
I guess.
Mm-hmm. How does everybody else react?
One big shrug. What the hell's magic anyway?
Wait, what? No, there's... I don't know. There is something. It's like... I don't know how we all got separated and ended up together now, but...
I know.
Magic?
Yeah!
Yeah, but... There's... We'll address this. We'll talk about this later.
Harold, when it comes to magic, really powerful magic, reality becomes only a bright suggestion.
Yeah, but no, it's more
Ren
like...
is going to finger gun towards Madeline.
Believe me, I'm a teleporter. I know when I say that.
Yeah, no, I know magic. It's not that. It's...
Ooh, mage fight.
Actually, before you manage to do anything, you get cut off by a sudden spark of energy as the eye returns to you, full and active, and it returns more. And you feel the magic that was within this chamber begin to glow within you, and your eye begins to glow, the same, casting the same kind of energy that Lamrock's sword gave off.
Ooh, fancy.
And your eye is
And
just
you.
bright.
Is it saying anything to Amon? Or showing him anything?
No, this appears to be some kind of effect of the eye. Oh my god. Being a part of this area, this kind of magic. It's empowering the eye. And Lamrock, like, his face is like, what? And like eyebrows like raised, mouth agape, and he stumbles for a moment and says, "Well then, I guess you were chosen as well."
What? Like, this is new.
And that's where we'll fade to black.
What?
As we conclude the session.
You're just leaving us on a cliffhanger, saying you've all been chosen, and that's it.
Was it just Harold and Minnie, or?
No, it was just Harold, and his eye began to glow, the same glowing that Lamrock's sword glowed.
Oh my god, Amon is becoming a knight of the round table!
Nice.
End of session moves. I am so sorry. Let's start from the bottom. Dennet, Ren.
just when I slid away to turn on the light because I've noticed I've been sitting in the pitch black for all this time.
Mood.
Oh, and the session moves. God, where did I put the sheet? Even though I should know these by now. I'll go closer to the team, Madeline get influence, and I'm marking potential.
Alright, Madeline, do you have influence over Ren?
Nice.
He does not.
Oh.
Wait, Ren?
Ren, Halil, or Boreas.
Can you type your character's name in chat or whatever? Because, yeah. I don't have it, but yeah.
There you go. And now what advancement do I want?
Alright. Okay, Red Streak, I updated your character sheet with the influence.
Oh, thanks.
Don't say out loud, that's a whisper. And, okay, yeah, Red Streak. Do you grow closer, away, or into your own image?
I think Red Streak would grow into her own image.
Alright, what labels are you shifting?
I think I would shift. Ooh. I think I would shift Freak down. So Freak down and Save up, I think.
Okay.
Freak down and what up?
Freak down and Savior up.
Okay. Done.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Minnie.
This is a tough one. There's not a fair way to do it, but it's the right one. Minnie grows away from the team in this session.
Alright.
Not anyone in particular, but I do have to pick a person. So the only reason why I'm going to pick Madeline is because Madeline is the reason that Minnie is on the mission, right? Madeline was the one who told her to come along. But she's not mad at Madeline, like, directly. So it's not that.
Easy come, easy dough.
Yep. What it is the, like, she had her headphones on, but she's not, like, completely tuned out. She just needs multiple stimuli to focus. So when people are talking about her as if she isn't there and treating her like she's not an adult and that, like, she's dumb, that hurts her feelings. But she is looking at multiple timelines and way too distracted to, like, confront people about it. So that's what the deal is. That's why she grew away from the team.
Alright. Madeline.
I think grow into his own image. Savior down, superior up.
Okay. And finally, Harold.
Always hard, this.
Oh, shit. Damn it! I knew I'd forget something. Oh. I'm sorry.
He's going into his own image for this one. Didn't particularly get closer to anyone. Did not grow away from anyone. So, the one that makes the most sense is growing into your own image. And, this is tough, but he's done a lot of the session without the eye. And that's a point where he should have relied on his own abilities, or still trying to get the eye to go. But I think the defining moment, I said, was where he leapt off after Minnie without even considering for a second. Oh, can't fly. So I'd say Savior goes up, and these labels are weird.
Okay.
I'm gonna pump Superior down. Yeah. Savior up, Superior down. Would have been Freak, but with the out of body experience and then the eye going all super glowy near the end, I don't think I'm changing Freak. And
Alright.
that is it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm afraid that we can only do one end credit scene, and that is the end credit scene that I have planned. As those
It's okay.
Lovely end credits instrumentals.
play over, we fade. Actually, we continue going past into a black screen as it pans down from, or no, it pans up from the black water over a pier. And along the pier, there's one stand, and there's a bell dinging. Ding, 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 as the camera pans back. And you see a flag. Indiscernible what's on it. And that's where we'll fade back into black. And that was the session. I'm going to stop the recording. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Nah.